special overlay with specific cameras and
Whoa.
goodness gracious. It's amazing.
You actually pulled it off.
I know.
NA production.
We pulled it off, in fact, like 2 minutes before we went live, but that's 2 minutes to spare that I didn't think we would otherwise have. But anyway, the main show today. Of course, for those who have been out of the loop, we've the champions of the NA division. Can you remind me who they were, Lemon Kiwi?
NA division. Well, let's choose Money Crew.
And then
Jayne, who won EU?
The winners of the European Open division were also Shoes Money Crew. That's a bit of a strange one, don't you think?
So we had to have a showdown of who's the shoeiest of the crews.
Who is the shoeiest? Who is the best? Who is the real Shoes Money Crew? So what's your in for us, or what are you... Words are hard. See? This is why I bring other people on to help me, because I can't do English. English is hard. Overwatch is easy in comparison. But yeah, that is what you are here to see today. You are here to see the best of North America versus the best of Europe. Now, of course, these matchups are not something that you usually get to see because we play on different regions, but today's format has tried to, I suppose, deal with that as best as possible. So we've got a best of 7, lots of Overwatch coming up for you, and we're going to be playing 2 maps on the North American server. We decided based on coin flip, and then after 2 maps, regardless of which team won those maps or lost those maps, we're going to be transitioning to the European server. So we're going to be doing a best of 7, 2 maps NA, 2 maps EU, going back and forth. So one team will, have an advantage based on each map, but we're hoping to see, the classic EU NA showdown. Now, of course, NA has the one and only Brandito, master of the Doomfist. So we'll have to see just how well that works outside of the, the realm, the Forbidden Island of North American Overwatch, and see if, that is actually the best way, the right way to play Overwatch, and maybe we'll get to see kind of some parallels towards BlizzCon, when, again, Europe will face NA, will face Korea, will face Australia. Lemon Kiwi, what are you thinking?
Well, yeah, No Hear You will be Brandito, so if you get confused between the two, that's his name, and he wrote down on his team sheet he's the Doom guy, and that's what really stood out for the NA team in the grand finals. I think they went against, was it Phase 2 Operation Spawn Camp? Those were the 2 grand finalists on each open division. And let's go through the roster, Jayne. We got Baboon, Suck, or that's Yeah from Overwatch League, or Loot Dog, and No Hear You, which is Brandito, Kabooms, and Tipunzor, and that Tipunzor being from GGEA. So at least for NA, there's some experienced players there, and EU also has some recycled players from contenders.
And what about who is Europe bringing to throw down with?
Oh, yeah. Europe's bringing Colsty on the main tank, Barbecue, which I believe is male. Everyone keeps asking in the chat, is Barbecue a female? I actually don't know. I'm guessing male. And Zeal will be the Genji player. Maz will be the Tracer. Izzy is the Mercy. And Trispier is the Zenyatta. So you might recognize some of these players from Bazooka Puppies. That's a disband. And mostly from those two.
Yeah, and the NA, of course, have won their first 2 matches there in Contenders Trial. One of them, of course, was against the team formerly known as GGEA. They've now disbanded because apparently Houston Outlaws struggles to run a Tier 2 team. But, these things happen. So both of these teams already looking to have a pretty strong showing in trials, and maybe we'll see, 2 teams, at least in part, maybe not making it all the way as one piece. But we may be seeing quite a few future contenders players. So going to be pretty interesting to see here. But joining us, it's not just myself and Lemon today, because I was going to focus more on the producing side of this. And, I just figured out exactly how difficult it is to control the camera as well as cast at the exact same time. So joining us today, we actually have our 2 casters. I'd like to introduce them as Blank, and you know her from the tournament of Get Good on last Saturday, Ham Tornado. Hello to the both of you.
Hey, yo! It's the Blank NATO, different flavor coming at you guys, bringing you the Shoes Money Showdown. Blank, you pumped? I'm so excited.
I am pumped. Like I said, I was pumped. I am pumped that you've reinvigorated me with those words. I'm ready to go. It's NA versus EU today. We've got some amazing players on both teams, and I've seen both teams come up through Open Division, and it's crazy to see them here. And I just cannot believe they unironically both took Open Division. It's absolutely insane.
It was just the stars aligned. It's just such a great opportunity for all those puns. Shoes v shoes. Who will win? Who will lose? Right? There's
The two shoes.
two shoes. Exactly. Shoes money crew. Shoes broke ass crew. So it's you know, and for all
It's
of
gonna
the
be a tongue
similarities.
twister, right?
Right, yeah.
It's gonna be a tongue twister of a cast.
And for all the similarities on these teams, you know, we there are distinctions beyond just the fact that, you know, a lot of their base compositions do seem to be revolving around, you know, those goats tanks and supports.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, 3-3 has always been a massive staple in Open Division. What's nice to see now is in Trials and coming up to Contenders, a lot of teams are starting to think, how do we actually counter 3-3? So you've got Sombras thrown into the mix now. Obviously, Brandito, No Hear You, is just going to be playing the Doomfist. This works extremely well if you can get into the enemy team, focus down a singular target, and really proves to be a big problem for the Reinhardt. And it really becomes a massive problem for them when Yazaria starts having to cleanse the Reinhardt from being smacked around with the bubble. You lose that out the way, and then immediately after the Doomfist gets his cooldowns back, Projector Barry's still going to be on cooldown, and it's going to be a nice and easy kill onto the Reinhardt. So what I can expect to see today from especially the EU is playing a little bit further back, a little bit more passive, out of the way of the Doomfist, out of the way of his shenanigans, so to speak.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, NA, certainly, if any of you guys caught the Open Division playoffs, we had Shoes Money Crew playing Phase 2 twice. And both times kind of dismantling that goats with the Doomfist. He's kind of the tip of the spear, that vanguard that you send in. But as you said, Blank, you know, there isn't really a Brigitte player on the side of Shoes NA. And so Shoes EU, you know, this is a little bit counter to, you know, how some teams do like to play. They like to play really proactive. If you wait to catch that dive from the Doomfist, you know, there's a very small window of open opportunity for Doomfist to get those combos. You miss a couple, or, you know, you get shield bash, stunned, it can really mess up your day.
Oh yeah, I mean, the Reinhardt can just immediately swing about 175 damage into you. And if you've not accrued an immediate shielding from the abilities you use on the Doomfist, that can really put a stint in the works, especially if someone else follows up on that, like your Brigitte, who's playing with the Reinhardt himself. You get the whip shot, 75 damage on that, and the shield bash on top. You're pretty much done for as the Doomfist. So you'll be really careful of that, especially with these high-level Reinhardts like Colsty, who is just this amazing main tank at the front of his team. But more than that, Barbecue provides space for Colsty with Diva Bombs, which just close off so much space for the enemy team. Like, they have to move out of the way of that one, and you can't have a Doomfist swinging around. But it's not all about the Doomfist. You do have Tyler on the team, who was Loot Dog within Open Division. He is now on his ult, which is actually what they call him anyway, which is really strange in my opinion. But he's a great Sombra, a great Widow, so they have more tools to their team set.
Yeah, the biggest thing for me is how the communication will be with Shoes NA. As you said, they do like to run some more moving parts, a Doomfist throwing a Sombra into the mix as well. So if Shoes Money Crew, they can play more together. Shoes NA, we have seen it in the past, a bit of an overextension, potentially, you know, that miscommunication leaves one of those, you know, more mobile heroes out to dry. You lose your Doomfist right away. If you're able to win that fight, it's in spite of that loss. So that's, you know, something that doesn't always happen, certainly, and Shoes NA really going to have to watch out for those kinds of, you know, small mistakes that can certainly snowball into something else. And speaking of the winter, what is our first map but beautiful, wintry Nepal? We're in a cold snap here in Colorado, so I am all bedecked in my beanies and winter gear.
Oh yeah, it's cold. It's cold. I mean, it's late at night in the UK as well. It's starting to get a little bit more cold over here. Actually start turning on the radiators, etc. And then they'll be have to do that in Shrine on none other than Nepal itself, like you're saying. This map has a lot of options to it. Obviously, yeah, I've got green and red on the left side of the map, and then towards coast, you've got the Mega that you can play around. But this is a map that really secludes sightlines, so it's going to be interesting how they play it, especially when you've got two goats going against each other. And there you go, you've got Brandito. He's on the Doomfist. Whatever can we say?
Is water wet? Is snow cold? Already we have a punch in there. Does not find the D-Mech onto Barbecue. And it's going to be Shoes EU pushing NA off for now. There isn't quite as much frontline presence as there will be 3 tanks on the line for Shoes EU. Shoe NA not having that D.Va, but it doesn't seem to matter. Hammer down for Colsty. He gives up his life in exchange. And even with Shoes EU taking so much early space here with the man disadvantage going their way, NA looks sure to clean things up.
Yeah, and this is absolutely on Suck altogether towards here. He just pulls back, he makes the enemy team use their projected barrier, and he dropped down his personal barrier early on in that fight, which got him more charge than Mouse could have accrued. And now he comes back in the fight with 20 charge on top of that 20-30, and he comes up to 100 charge during the second push-in. You can see that because he's 91% already towards that Graviton, 58% on Mouse itself. Whoa!
Massive! Oh, what a combination! Anti-nade into an enormous Earth Shatter. There was no way Shoes EU could have weathered that, even if they had seen the storm coming. Oh, Shoes NA and having used just one ultimate.
I mean, whoever takes the move first, am I right? So they pull out the Earth Shatter, they pull out the nade as well, so that's a quick fight over to them, and they still have so much to work with there as well, as they only use the Earth Shatter. There's the Graviton.
There's the Graviton Surge. Great charge from behind. Baboon catches Colsty. And without that main front tank, everybody else behind him are these chicken tenders just standing there waiting to be wrecked by this Doomfist. Brandito throws in that Meteor Strike as well, but it was just for cleanup points.
I thought Baboon had just used the Earth Shadow, but it looks like it's back online once again for the fella. They also have the sound barrier here. Suck has used that Graviton, and they have some retaining armor on top of that. Zeal's not even got his very first rally as of yet, but Tri-Spear will be coming to this fight with a nano boost, so potentially Colsty can make a large Earth Shadow.
Colsty will certainly have an advantage in this Rhyme v Rhyme battle. Baboon getting taken low here, but the barrier allows Suck to take some of that damage for him. Oh, Earth Shatter comes in. Graviton following right behind. Huge investment from both sides.
Oh, what about
Barbecue. Oh my goodness. Cooking and booking him right here. Shoes EU recap with style.
Oh, they look so stalwart on the side of NA, but in comes Izzy from the backside, boops them all out into the clutches of that Diva Bomb, and they all go down. Now, this man is absolutely on fire with his boops, winning the very grand finals of the boop to remove the Winston from getting to the point in open division. God, and he's showing it here today. Immediately, though, NA coming straight back on the point. Projected barrier used early.
Projected barrier used. Oh, Nano Boost actually invested onto the Reinhardt, but no! Colsty taken down by a Fire Strike from Baboon. Oh man, showing his dominance right here. Definitely be pounding his chest. Shoes EU now struggling. Zeal goes down. The vestiges of hope drifting away at 90%. Shoes NA, this is their last fight territory. They recap the point. There's only one more chance for EU to touch.
This absolutely is the last fight here. They do have Meteor Strike, which can immediately take down Tri-Spear unless Colsty blocks it off, but he goes down to the Meteor Strike. It's going to be even easier, but they won't touch the point. 100% to 38. Now will be NA taking this very first one quite convincingly.
Yeah, a dominant performance. It seemed like NA came into every engagement with not only a clear plan, but were able to execute as well. Shoes EU got to dig a little bit deeper right there. It's not just about the quantity of bodies you have on the point, but the quality. Would really like to see maybe a little bit more value from Barbecues even outside those self-destructs, because, you know, when you are playing these GOAT style compositions, you do rely very heavily on those ultimates, but they aren't always going to be online.
No, not at all. So you got to work with what you've got in those situations. The story so far has been the boots from the Lucio. There was one great one coming out from Faz there. He responded quickly in turn to Izzy by booping Colsty up into the air, so his Earth Shadow doesn't come down till a few seconds later, in which case NA are already ready for it. Baboon immediately popping down the Fire Strike. Colsty projected barrier onto him, and Mal's moving forward.
Mal's moving forward. A big anti-nade. Oh, results in Izzy's death. Tri-Spear goes down as well. Tyler now on this Widowmaker, showing his chops on the hit scan, but it will be Barbecue finishing off that DPS. And so EU, once again, same story. They take up the advantageous positioning first.
Just getting a little bit more charge for Suck so far. Get him towards a little bit more towards that Graviton. It was a bit of a weird fight. It was nicely played by NA. They put down Thailand, got a bit of crossfire going to keep the attention away, but a few members from NA lost quite quickly. Means that, you know, Barbecue can readjust his attention.
Barbecue will be readjusting his attention here. The rally arbor from Zeal as Colsty takes Baboon for a ride. The Brigida finishes him off. He's miles away from any kind of help, and another quick fight win for EU.
But he does get a Graviton up here before going down, so we'll be able to contest this in this next fight. 30% in climbing, however, not too many ultimates available. Thailand makes a switch over to the Sombra here, possibly to shut down this Reinhardt. You can also quite easily hack the D.Va, which stops the D.Va Matrix, able for Ponza to drop a nice big nade in without worrying about the D.Va Matrix eating it up.
Yeah, certainly the power of the Ana can't be understated. Tri-Spear will have that nano boost. Brandito has the blade at the ready, but the Tones are so far away from his own ultimate. They're gonna try the naked blade. Big anti-nade comes in. Brandito slicing, dicing. The Graviton Surge comes in to help, but he's miles away. The counter shatter doesn't find anybody, but there is a self-destruct from Barbecue. Picks up 2, and that's gonna be that, Blank.
Oh, poor Baboon looking the wrong way, and then suddenly it's Barbecue at a pantomime saying, "It's behind you," before he can even turn. It explodes and takes 2 of them down. They've been coming to this next fight a little bit underhanded here. Thailand's still not quite towards that EMP, and 80% in climbing. It's not looking good for them. However, we got to take into consideration that all we're really coming up to is defensive ultimates. We've got the rally, got the sound barrier. We have much more aggressive ultimates from NA with the Earth Shatter.
Ooh, Earth Shatter and the sweep in the back. Thailand taken out of the fight altogether. Now sound barrier is being traded. Both sides feeling that beat. Faz able to eat that charge, but he's getting booped away from the body of the fight. Oh, Baboon under pressure goes down once again. Shoes and A losing that main tank so early on. Over time now, Wick burning down. There's no bodies left. And Shoes EU biting back here, tying things up 1-1 on Nepal.
Absolutely, and this is why they were also the grand final champions in their respective open division. They do take this back. And remember, guys, we are playing this on NA first time round, so these guys, their ping is pretty high at the moment. It's pretty high. But one thing I want to quickly highlight is, if you've ever seen any of the streams that Suck does, who's actually, yeah, he is from the Overwatch League. I believe he is Mayhem's an analyst here. He does say that a lot of times his team tries to create space for Brandito to go in and take down targets. Now, we've got to admit, right, that Tri-Spear was slightly out of position as the Ana in the backline. No one's really with him, and no one's really prepared to come back to him. So when Brandito comes in, I thought, oh, it's done. It's done. The Ana's out of the way. But a lovely sleep dart takes him out of the fight, and EU are able to clean up quite efficiently. So it looks like they're starting to get their number and playing into this Doomfist a little more smartly.
Yeah, it's going to be all about that intelligent positioning, saving those cooldowns for when you really need them. Colsey this time around on the Winston, taken extremely low, retreats back to the safety of his team. Both sides just making that hard eye contact across this high ground. Nobody's really committed just yet here. Oh, incredibly tense. Baboon, oh, gets stunned by Mouse's McCree here. Thailand is on the Widowmaker once again. It's going to be EU making that first leap onto the point, but no. Colsey getting separated away. Will he be able to stay up? No, the poor little Harmony Orb, not enough to keep up that big, beefy Winston body. So the fight continuing to devolve. Zeal taken low by that anti-nade. Oh my goodness! Already a high noon, and it pays huge dividends. Bows taking out 2, including his counterpart, Thailand, the most important one on the side of NA. He is still going here. Baboon falls. It's a 1v2 on the point. Forced to use that Meteor Strike. Now Brandito trying to keep things alive. He gets the kill onto Tri-Spear, but it will be EU capping first.
Oh, you can't ignore the Froggy Assassin. Once he's got your contract, he will be looking for heads. Now he's on the point, looking for some more kills, but he's taking a lot of fire. Armor pack onto him almost immediately to keep him alive in this fight. That speed boost is imperative to keep up here.
Self-destruct coming out here. Barbecue not going to be performing any miracles this time around. Thailand takes out that D.Va for sure. Transcendus now invested by Tri-Spear, just stalling here at time for time as EU still have control despite all of the investment coming in from NA. Baboon retreats to the safety of his team. High noon popped once again. Mouse has been generating this ultimate like crazy, and with the kills trickling in through, EU will hold.
And it really does not matter at this point. Once they pop the Deadeye, pretty much all of NA just has to get the hell out of dodge. And they just gain more and more ultimate charge here. They will be coming back in with a nano boost. They'll possibly be able to put this onto Brandito, who will be able to get a Meteor Strike within this fight. So should things go right, he can get out. But they pop it onto Suck to try and keep him in mech, but he goes down anyway.
Yes, speaking of things not going so hot, the spawn camp is real. Is this selfless? EU pushing all the way up to NA. They know that they are so close to that one and done, one fight territory, now closing in on 70%. This is looking dire, Blank.
It really absolutely is. And you know, if this game was an animal, it would absolutely be the dire wolf, because it's looking desperate. It's looking real desperate for NA. We do have a meteor strike coming in here, but once he does use it, they know he doesn't really have an efficient escape tool after that to just get out of jail free card.
Oh, but another huge anti-nade from Tapunzer coming in clutch for his team means nobody's going to be receiving any of that enlightenment. And now finally, NA able to actually break through that choke, start to get some bodies onto this point, but overtime will be started for EU. They're wisely backing off here. They know that they are so close to recapping this.
Yeah, I mean, you can meditate all you like, but one battery grenade will put an end to that. All that meditation, all that selflessness is going to come to naught after that one. Now we're coming back into Ponsor. He has found himself another nano boost. Pop that onto his teammate, the Winston. So that's going to keep him in the fight even longer. But Thailand finally pick up the Tri-Spear, just going to extend this stack out a little bit longer. The only real thing we have here is the Diva Bomb. And with so many sight lines, so many areas of natural cover, it's very difficult to find an efficient Diva Bomb, or with them moving off the point. It's not going to be very useful to them until they take the point itself.
Exactly, you got to make it through those tiny hallways, those dangerous walls. Brandito hunting for yet another one-shot kill. We do have Tapunzer's nano boost at the ready. Honor knows that this is going to be a very important ultimate just to buy time in this next fight right here. So far, still just EU rotating around. They're going for the dive in the back line. Oh, the boop goes on to that Anna, but she manages to stay alive. Thailand gets the drop onto Mao. So once again, with minimal investment, it will be NA continuing to hold. Poor Barbecue.
What a disgusting hack that was, as he just boosts over the edge and just falls straight down like a stone out of the sky. And they retained so many ultimates from that fight as well, as the Meteor Strike was given out at the beginning. Now he's 82% towards the next one. And there's an EMP available as well, as this is really looking tough for EU. So many ultimates should just dissuade them from the point so far and nothing to do with it. You do see Zeal trying to spy check as much as he can with that flail. So far, Talon's stayed out of the way.
Oh, but the hack comes onto the Brigitte regardless, forcing her to go back off. Barbecue once again. No kills from that self-destruct. A little bit of space cleared, but Baboon answers back with a Primal Rage. Huge EMP catches the bulk of this EU team. Mouse again falls prey to Brandito, but Tri-Spear still had that Transcendence online. Overtime down, but it's that enlightenment once again not enough to save his co-support. Izzy does go down. However, there is an angry monkey on the point. Colsey trying to keep this alive for his team, and Zeal gets the drop onto Thailand. So things still even here. It is a 3v3 on the point. Now Barbecue out again with yet another self-destruct. No kills. Both sides scrapping this out. It is
that's massive.
All about that sustain, but there's no Doomfist alive any longer. Baboon will be the only one left here from Shoes NA trying to keep things alive. Suck does tag in. It's been an incredible brawl so far, but it will be EU captain.
Oh my God!
Thailand not able to touch, and EU will take our first map win.
What amazing plays we saw from this tank duo of Colsty and Barbecue, sticking on point for as long as possible, using the Winston shield to great advantage to block off the hack. You saw Barbecue playing inside and outside of the Winston shield to make sure she was never hacked for too long there. Just an absolute crazy amount of plays, and Colsey was just controlling space that entire game, jumping out and jumping back in again. They just could not pin him down.
And this was despite repeated kills onto Mao's very early on in these fights by Thailand. So, you know, EU even going in one man down, missing so much of that DPS, still able to sustain that fight.
Yeah, it's absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. Both teams played so very, very well there. But EU take this even on their North American servers, so it's going to be an absolute boon to the confidence hand.
Yeah, and confidence is huge here, Blank. I mean, you have both teams Titans in their own rights, champions of their respective regions. And, you know, Shoes NA, the Doomfist was a huge asset coming up through that open division regular season. But at this point, does it feel like it's heading into that one trick territory? Do we need to see more adaptation from the NA DPS?
Yeah, absolutely. But, you know, we'll hand this one back to Lemon Kiwi and Jayne, and they can break down this one a little bit further.
Well, hey guys.
Hello, friends. Yes, to those who are just joining us, yes, I do exist. It is not just on my channel. I am definitely assisting with the production of this tournament here. I'm managing the game and the camera work, as well as here to kind of provide my own insight in between the games. But I guess the first one is that we are, of course, on NA servers right now. And this is a show match between, Shoes Money Crew North America and Shoes Money Crew Europe. However, Europe takes the first map. What do you think was the main factor in that, Lemon?
Well, first map went pretty one-sidedly towards NA, and let's talk about the compositions if you guys remember. So EU ran the triple tank, triple support with the Ana, NA ran the double tank Doomfist with triple support, and Brandito, it's such a hard carry with this Doomfist. I think everyone's very tilted and ranked right now with how much of an impact a good Doomfist can have, how he can dive in and get himself out and disrupt what NA was bringing or what EU was bringing. So I think a lot of that on the back of Brandito. Of course, we saw awesome self-destruct from Barbecue on Shrine that allowed them to retake, but ultimately it was, I think, 100 to 30 something on NA. But we saw the same, Jayne, we saw the same comp from EU, the triple tank, triple support with Ana on Village. Why do you think it went 100% to 0 for EU in that one?
Well, when you're looking at these two teams' advantages, when you're having when you have a team that performed throughout the Open Division off of the back of Brandito on this really well-polished Doomfist, which has finally become into the meta, even in the pro scene, that's a very powerful source. And we saw him and the Brigitte when they were playing that, especially on the Shrine, kind of coming together and kind of, just going as a two-man unit and taking out various squishy targets, especially the Ana, who didn't have as much support. So that's really where the strength of NA is lying. And these, it's built around and supporting Brandito on that Doomfist. It is his best character. And especially on Village, we saw a little bit of Genji, and it didn't really have, the flair from what little we saw of it. However, especially Doomfist. If you've ever tried to play Doomfist on triple-digit ping, you know just how painful that can be. There's a lag just between kind of releasing the punch and you actually getting the movement on the punch. However, Europe's strength, on the other hand, is coming from this 3-3 composition, and a lot of people consider, GOATs to be a brainless composition, but, the Europeans like GOATs, and they think that there's a flair to it. Eagle Gaming, Team France, Nico has been kind of one who's been talked about in the competitive scene as somebody who kind of understands GOATs to the extent that some Koreans were fabled to have understood and really taken dive to the next level. And you even mentioned it yourself, Barbecue with those big diva bombs, but every single one of those diva bombs was landing because either there was a charge going onto the Reinhardt or a stun of some sort, allowing those bombs to actually connect. And I don't think that the actual team synergy between European Shoes Money Crew is going to be affected by ping. It might be a little bit more annoying or inconvenient, but they're still going to be able to set up these plays, and they're going to play these compositions that aren't nearly as affected by ping, which I think is going to give them a pretty hefty advantage in this show match.
And for the second map on Village, it was 100 to 0 for EU. And if we remember what NA ran, they ran Genji, Widowmaker. And then ultimately the first cap went to EU. So trying to attack into that was really tricky. And the only blade that Brandito got on that Genji went after the Lucio. Probably some ping issues there, of course, but he just couldn't get the finishing blow onto that Lucio. A little bit too slippery. So great movement from, I think it was Izzy, but maybe could have went after the Ana, someone of a bigger threat than a Lucio. And then you also had Thailand, who throughout that first map, I don't think found his strides, or at least wasn't warmed up, because he tried the Widowmaker and then would switch to Sombra. And I think that sort of a stagger time, or that stall time of Thailand trying to figure out what he wanted to play, I think kind of gave a disadvantage to NA. So for the third map, let's talk about the third map. I mean, 99%, almost a comeback, Jayne.
Yeah. So for... sorry, I was just kind of working with the in-game stuff there.
Problem.
But going into the next map, we've got Hollywood coming up next. Do you think that we're going to be seeing the same sort of compositions? Hollywood, of course, it's NA's pick, so they're going to pick it because it's good for the Doomfist. But definitely not a map that's nearly as good for GOATs. Do you think Europe's going to be able to take this map as well?
if it's NA's map, maybe they're trying to enable their Widowmaker of Thailand more, and then Brandito with that Doomfist, that's a lot of high ground he can play with, and maybe NA feel more comfortable with that dive over EU. EU been playing a lot of this triple tank, death ball, triple support, so they might think, okay, let's test them out on their dive. And Hollywood, especially once you unlock that payload, it's all about high ground control, all about whose Widowmaker is the best, and I think they have a lot of NA have a lot of faith in their Widowmaker and their dive over EU.
Well, as we move into Hollywood, let's pass it back to our casters, Blank and Ham, so they can take us into match 2 between North America and Europe, with Europe being up 1-0.
And that's going to be a big 1-0, Jayne, as we head into the second map of this best of 7. Blank, we've been talking about this, but, you know, beyond kind of the mechanics and those team compositions and stuff, the mental game, once again here, can't be understated. And in particular, I want to point out the Rhine v. Rhine battles. As a mediocre, that's pretty generous, Rhine main myself, you know, a lot of whether or not you win out these battles does have something to do with the confidence that you have approaching these engagements. Blank.
Blank's muted.
Look, right, I'm from EU.
Scuffed production.
So I always have to have one time that I'm muted, okay? Because I am EU. Right?
Gotta stay with the tradition.
That's the way we roll.
Exactly.
That's the way we roll. But yeah, so Reinhardt compositions, I mean, a lot of times whoever strikes first wins, because you want to deny someone's plan before they can put it into the action. The best way to do that is through execution itself, right? Now, a lot of the times, though, we got to talk about the person behind the Reinhardt, who is Zarya. And a lot of these fights are won off the back of who has to invest the projected barrier first. And you know what? Hollywood's a really interesting map for this, because you got to get around the first corner. And this is a place where you can really put pressure on the attackers as the defenders. You have to force them to come on through that small choke area. And depending what we're running, we are playing the Doomfist, obviously. That can put a massive dent in the plans of the attackers. You can just smash that Rhino into the wall.
Oh, 100%, and already some pretty aggressive positioning, just searching for a little bit of extra ult charge right out the gates. NA, they will be backing off behind this choke here. EU, they don't want to be pinned down. They're going in all the way with that Genji Sombra dive. Mao's now on that Sombra, going to be facing off against Thailand. The big question is going to be which of these Sombras gets a little bit more value. It's hard to get value when you're 6 feet under. Thailand, one of the first ones to fall here. Brandito jumping up onto the cafe, trying to get rid of Kolsti, but the leap is on cooldown. Kolsti staying alive right here. EU have taken up position proper, but Brandito takes out Zeal, getting a little bit of revenge for his DPS partner, but the tanks from EU coming in strong once again. It's going to be Kolsti and Barbecue helping dismantle NA's defensive hold here. That should be the point, going the way of EU.
There's just really efficient staging coming out from EU as they come onto the point. You got the D.Va, you've got the Genji, comes on through, gets a little bit charged, jumps onto the high ground with the Winston and the D.Va. And you've got Diana staying relatively safe in the background as the Winston and the D.Va take a lot of the pressure away. Now Brandito's looking for the Sombra of the high ground, please get out of there. Quite sharpish. But what we do know is that Zeal's going to be looking for this Dragon Blade on top with Mouse with the EMP. It's just going to be quite literally a hack and slash, but Barbecue jumps that one up, puts that one on the barbecue itself.
Hungry, not just for delicious smoked meat, but gravitons as well. EMP now dropped by Mao. Suck receives that nano booster. Oh boy, it is working out beautifully. Suck so high charge, going with the power of 1,000 tons. Gonna have to deal with this self-destruct. Oh, unfortunately, catches Thailand. There's no protected bubble for you, my son. So while NA were able to respond quite well, they're still having to give up quite a bit of space here as the poke battle continues. Zeal holding on to this blade. Oh, let's it loose as I say it. Oh, eats a giant anti-nade. He's getting taken low here. No kills as of yet. Will he be able to escape with his life? Brandito goes in deep. He really wants to find that kill into the backline. No, will not result in anything. But Baboon lays in the Earth Shatter. Where is the throughput? There we go. 2 down for Shoes EU. And finally, NA starting to assemble something of a defense.
That is a final hold there. Barbecue gets nice and stalled out. Now Thailand has an EMP of his own. And EU are pretty lackluster looking at the ultimates. That was an incredibly long and drawn out fight from this team. They really wanted to get a lot more value out of the blade than it did. That bionic grenade really sent that boy packing. They will be making the re-engage now. Thailand on the high ground has to run away from those lasers.
Thailand running away, staying safe, drops his EMP. Graviton Surge just to confirm another beautiful anti-nade from Taponza, and it was just as easy as that. Where was this NA last time?
I know, right? It looks so very much more organized, much more coordinated. After they've lost this point A, seem to have been able to get a foot into the ground and stop NA short. Now, Zeal, you can tell by the way he's playing quite far back. He's just looking for this next Dragon Blade for the time being. This is what's going to be great. But you see, Brandito, he's stationed himself on the top side. Doesn't get any value yet as EU just stall it out. Play a little bit safe.
Brandito, he's just, parkouring across the roofs, just keeping warm right there. Zeal, oh, so close, dashes up. He doesn't quite have it. He's actually hacked. Oh, Brandito's on that like flies all over a body. But in the meantime, Baboon falls. The front line from NA getting crushed. Barbecue pushing up very, very aggressively, eats that sleep dart, but is immediately woken up. And Colsey now trading places with this tank to make more space. I mean, Shoes EU so far rolling.
That is absolutely hilarious. They are certainly rolling, but who else is rolling around laughing? It's Zeal as he takes Brandito on an absolute wild goose chase. Now he has the blade, ready to unleash it whenever, and Colsey's providing the space for him, but he is hacked mid-dash through.
Hack, miss, dash through, nano from Brandito onto Brandito, getting wasted right there. Everybody forced to run from that self-destruct, and now will be the time to unleash that blade. There we have Zeal diving in deep, but he's mostly just working out his legs. Sword not catching a whole lot of bodies here. It's going to be Colsey getting the better of his counterpart. Baboon, you were just on the wrong hero, my friend. Winston's, man. Gotta stick with your primate family.
Absolutely, you gotta stick close to your simian friends. And I mean, here the main story we look from this is that you've got Faz, you've got the Taponza, right? But they're around the corner. As soon as the blade comes out, everyone's cut off from them on the side of NA. So not receiving any healing. They're not in the sightlines for Lucio to grant healing or speed boost. And Anna, she can't shoot through walls, can she? So the blade, even though it was thwarted by the boop, it still provided so much value to EU.
Yep, tons of value for EU, and they're going to need it as Mouse is supposed to run to their next ultimate, that EMP, and Thailand in the back. Oh, gets slept. Brandito in the back, though, manages to save his counterpart, and Tri-Spear actually falls. So NA, who with their fingernails have bought themselves a little bit more time.
Poor Doomfist. He's even revving up the fist, and then he gets hacked, and he's like, well, all my anger's gone now. See ya.
Yeah, just waving his fist here. There will be a swap Zeal onto the Brigida now. NA, they're backing off, trying to play this conservatively. They have 3 ultimates to give, but so much more time to wear off the bank.
Yeah, who EMPs first? This is the main story here, and it will be Mouse.
Mouse gets that giant EMP. The team split. Suck goes down. Brandito eats yet another sleep dart. Dude, you're gonna get fired for sleeping on the job right there. Nano Boost manages to save him. NA now just struggling, looking for more time, more space. But in return, Colsey getting in that massive cleave, and Brandito falls.
He's just taking a quick power nap, but it's not working out for him, sadly. Now, it will be the Suck with a Graviton. This is going to have to be huge here, but we have a Diva Bomb to get him off.
He's been holding it all game. EU rolling in here. Baboon does have that Earth Shatter, and Thailand one of the first down once again. Earth Shatter only finds Tri-Spear. No! The boop saves the charge. Oh my goodness. And Tozer is down now. Baboon has no Ana at his own back. Meteor Strike down, but it's going to be one Brandito versus the world, and sadly that's not going to be going in the way of NA. EU, they finish things out.
This is an incredibly good EU that we are seeing. I don't know if you can see chat right now, guys, but Colsey is just spamming EU goats. And they really can play so many variations of different compositions here, and they seem to understand them so well. The main thing we're seeing so far is that EU push in, they play it really well, and they push back with some force, EU get their number, and then they move further forward. It's so incredible to see EU playing against this so efficiently. And at the moment, Brandito still has not switched off that Doomfist. And you know what? With the amount of darts that he's been eating, I assume he just has so many darts all over his body by this point. It can't be a nice sight to look at. What? It's sad because Tri-Spare's been making a fool out of him.
It feels bad. I mean, Tri-Spear has been rocking this. Mad sleeps all day long, not only onto Brandito, but also to Sombra. You know, you would consider to be Ana's worst nightmares. Tri-Spear able to really hold his own. And NA, like you were saying, Blank, not only is the coordination seeming to pale in comparison to that coming through from EU, but the resource management has not been great. When you have, that Doomfist going in really deep, requiring not only a lot of your support's attention, but your tanks as well, to provide a little bit of peel, push that front line forward. That can mean a splitting up of the team's attention, and that seemed to be the story over and over for NA in that last round.
Absolutely. Who does Tepone's pop the Ana boost onto? Does he pop it onto the Doomfist in the back? He has so many decisions to make in this certain moment. Does he keep Baboon alive? Does he keep Suck alive? It's difficult to keep track of all these different heroes that could require an Ana boost. Whereas on the other hand, Tri-Spare, he just pops it on the Genji in the air. It's pretty easy for him. Makes it quite easy for him as well as he dashes upwards. Talk about nightmares though, Ham, and you know what? So far it's been Brandito seeing Tri-Spare in his nightmares every time he goes to sleep.
Yes, yeah, there's no denying there. Once again, he goes in so deep, taken down to 19 before he can even receive any healing from the rest of his team. NA, looking so confused right now, a little bit in tatters as they try and regroup.
Absolutely. It doesn't really matter that Zeo goes down, because he will get back to the fight fairly quickly, especially on Sombra. It does mean that his EMP charge is quite low. And to be honest with you, Sombras, they're kind of just EMP bots. I'm just kidding. Any Sombra mains, please come at me.
Sombras, they are the world champion hide-and-seek players right here. Brandito goes in deep once again, trying to draw a little bit of attention from EU, but all that's going to net him is a free trip back to respawn as he was once again the first to fall. Baboon jumping backwards, gets that bubble, but it may not be enough to keep this Reinhardt up. And NA, it's time to keep those comms clear. Everybody engage at once.
I will give it to Suck so far, though. The positioning has been absolutely great from this area. The projected barriers have been on point as well. It's just the amount of pressure that's coming out from this composition that EU are running is really hard for this team to deal with. They want to play this slowly. They've got Brandito and the Sombra. Sombra just wants to try and get the EMP, but Brandito forever going in is just dying like this. And they're just really going quite hard in there. Pops the absolute primal rage as well, just knocking them around.
You know what? Your purple only makes me more angry. My favorite color is green. Oh my god, Colsey is going on an absolute field trip in this backline. He may be punished for his overextension here. He does go down. So NA have a very small window of opportunity here. They also draw out that self-destruct from Barbecue, forced to pop it just to remech here. And with Mao's going down, NA look like they finally may start to get some percentage.
Yeah, Colsey, that's a little bit aggressive, a little bit overzealous, perhaps. You've got to remember you are playing against one of the best teams within Trials at the moment on the NA side. You can't really treat them like that too much, swinging your fists around all angry like and pop yourself inside a room. But here he is, back again at it.
This is the defense that never says die right here. What are we watching? South American contenders. However, Brandito does find Tri-Spear, and even with all the passion in the world, EU with no main source of healing will be giving up that point. They got to clean up Mouse though. This Tracer's still hanging around.
Make it stop!
No!
Get away!
Oh my goodness!
Finally, she gets hacked. She's done. No more, please. Please stop stalling the payload. This man has a film to do, so you gotta let the VIP cart come off. Now, Brandito, he's setting up on the high ground. This is good staging from the side of NA. They know what they want to do. They know what they want to accomplish. So far, they know that EU has to play backwards, so getting Brandito into place as soon as possible is exactly what they want. They've not quite seen him yet, and Colts is in a bad position because of it.
Ooh, Colsey, though, does escape with his life. Same can't be said for Mouse, though. Oh, Tylan waking up right there, finds 2 headshots. Izzy, though, has swapped onto the Mercy. That's going to be a free redo. Mao's back into the fight, so there still is some long-distance damage. And oh, he does get the revenge shot. Oh, adds insult to injury, finds his own support kill. Faz down now.
The reactions from this team are absolutely insane. Sure, Zeal goes down, but Miles responds with another headshot into the back line. I mean, it's terrifying for this team to play against NA at the moment. You drop onto the top line, Brandita's up there, and suddenly you've got 6 players all looking at you, tutting away, saying, shouldn't have jumped on our Widow.
Exactly right there. And NA right now, they have no verticality to speak of besides Brandito. So you don't even have a Diva, a Winston to go up there, take a little space, take away that high ground as EU are wielding that dual sniper, holding everybody at bay. Graviton Surge now only catches Kolsty, and that's just going to make him mad. Oh, gets that sleep dart woken up again once, but Mouse does manage to find Thailand. Now Barbecue in with that self-destruct will pick up to Ponzer, and NA looking scattered.
2 minutes on the clock here and counting down. 1 minute 24 for EU were remaining. Once they finish this point, things are not looking good whatsoever. They're starting to look quite nightmarish indeed for NA, as they just cannot seem to find a point here. And every time the EU holds so much further forward, the payload is just ever creeping backwards. Thailand, he does respond, gets the pick onto Mouse, but again, of course, we got the Mercy here.
Yep, well, that's going to help things. Thailand finds Zeal as well, but nobody is on the payload right now. NA struggling to find those kills. They do manage to finally pick up Kolsey, so that will likely mean a little bit more distance. However, Izzy pops that Valkyrie, keeping everybody up nice and healthy with that chain healing. NA, they are getting distance on the cart here, but with that big anti-nade, they're going to be forced to back up, allowing EU time to regroup.
And it's really nice, though, we're seeing double sniper on the side of EU, but at the moment, Zeal has to play in the same sightlines as Mouse, as he's losing these battles versus Thailand so far. It just means that the defense is so linear at the moment that NA are able to predict it.
NA unfortunately couldn't have predicted that Diva bomb, though, as Ponzer will be going down at the hands of that ultimate once again. Zeal picks up Brandito, Baboon falls as well, and EU, they give up that first bite, but clap back with a vengeance.
Absolutely, they clap back indeed, and it's a loud noise that NA are just forced backwards. Thailand once again finds the pick onto Izzy, so the Mercy will be out of this fight. That means no res potential here, which has been absolutely huge so far, bringing the likes of Zeal, bringing the likes of Kolsty back into the fight. Of course, it's not too long of a walk, and Kolsty's going to pick him up, be the taxi for Izzy. But let's just hope he doesn't get a head taken off once again.
That's going to be the hope here for EU as they're down to the last 12 seconds. Ponzer falls again. This poor Ana just cannot catch a break right here. Suck just standing still, trying to get back into mech. Everybody has to deal with this raging Baboon here, trying to make a little bit of space, but no support with his team means that his 2 will fall. Self-destruct not going to pick up any kills, but it's just about, there aren't any more bodies, honestly. Overtime down.
And they're done. They're absolutely done. You know what, Ham? I know you came today as the NA supporter, but EU, we are terrifying. We are not to be messed with, you know, and it's not just GOATS GG anymore, right? We're playing all kind of comps here. We're really shaking the game down.
Exactly. And now, you know, never be onto the butt. Never have it said that, you know, EU does not know how to flex. It was absolutely NA right here, you know, showing the weaknesses of the reliance on that Doomfist. I mean, hey, welcome to the big leagues. It worked throughout Open Division, but you got to start, you know, flexing just a little bit, get some more flavors right there. And here to tell us all about what kind of beautiful flavors we can have, taste the rainbow, is Jayne and Lemon Kiwi.
That is indeed us, and welcome back. Now, that's 2 maps, and that was certainly a lot more decisive than I had thought it was going to be. And you know what? Just like Ham and Blank said there, we did see a lot of different compositions coming out from EU than just, you know, lol, goats. So not only are EU up 2-0, but kind of the talking point of North America seems to have disappeared along with it. What did you think of that map there, Lemon Kiwi.
Oh, there's so much to talk about, Jane. I don't know. I guess we'll start with the EU attacks of the first round. So they ran such a solid dive. And like I said, this was what Hollywood is all about, controlling that high ground once you move the payload forward. And they had the dive. They had Genji or Zeal on Genji, Mao's on Sombra. They were just controlling the area so well, being able to rotate out onto the high ground, use their EMP and blade so effectively. And really, did we see we didn't really see EU get stalled out really that much, except at the end of point B. But then you look at NA's attack and oh boy. Okay, so the payload gets unlocked, that's all fine, but EU's defensive setup, once we got to, I guess, the Route 66 part of Hollywood, as we like to say, they ran double sniper and they had a Mercy to power boost it, and they were just unstoppable. It was Mao's versus Thailand, and Thailand was the only sniper for NA. And at least you had Brandito as the Doomfist that you would think, okay, he's going to follow along and try and disrupt the snipers and help Thailand out, but he was getting sniped as well. So it was like at the end of the map, you saw Brandito finally go to Genji, but at that point, it was too late. This double sniper with Mercy set up from EU just completely shut down NA, and they just couldn't get that payload moving.
You know, and there's a few things going on here. Every time we've kind of seen Brandito swap to Genji, it's been, a swap because Doomfist isn't working out. And, there's a reason Brandito's Genji is not his first pick. He's vastly superior on that Doomfist. And when Doomfist is working, oh my goodness, is it working. But, we are also seeing the difference between EU and NA. Now, I'm not exactly, I haven't heard as much as about EU's scrimming habits, but NA has been, the Shoes Money crew from NA has been rather proud that they were able to win Open Division without scrimming. And you know how you have some very, very talented individuals on this team. You have people who are mechanically superior to the vast majority of other individual players who are in the Open Division. And even at this high of a level, mechanical skill can carry to a certain degree. But one of the things that I'm really liking from Europe so far is how they do just seem to be on the same page, and they're being much more aggressive because they're on the same page. Like, you're seeing those really aggressive dive defenses on Hollywood, where Europe is not scared in any regards to dive past that choke, chase people down. Now, Kolsty happened to have, there's no real two ways to put it. He threw by going pretty much all of the way to North America's spawn there, but you're seeing coordination, you're seeing aggression, and you're seeing it on something other than goats. So I've got 2 thumbs, and both of them are for Shoes Money Crew EU right now.
And I was a big fan of Kolsty's Winston, especially on EU's defense. You talked about that aggressive defense. He was always pre-diving before the NA could get a solid attack going. To be fair, it did burn a lot of time, but eventually Kolsty primaled into the spawn, and this kind of fed. He could have rotated out and saved himself, but him going down allowed NA to get the payload. But other than that, Kolsty played a fantastic Winston, along with having these really clutch bubbles that either saved the snipers or that were saving the supports from getting sniped from NA. So I was just a big fan of EU all around. And Jayne, this was all on NA servers, and EU is up 2-0 right now.
They are indeed. So this is going to be pretty challenging. Now, the offer was made whether they wanted to stay on the North American servers. However, the comment was made that playing Doomfist on EU ping was, of course, something that was promised and something that must be delivered. So we're going to see, we may be entering memery territory. But before we get into that, I just kind of wanted to point out how do you pronounce it? Is it Moss or?
Mouse?
Mouse?
I think.
So far, really impressed. We got a document for this, didn't we? And they even wrote down how to pronounce these names. I'm going to scroll up and find that.
Let me see.
Where is this? How do you pronounce that name?
He didn't put anything.
He didn't fill it out, so we're just going to figure it out. But either way, he was, of course, again on EU ping, but really popping there. And we're talking to people who already won Open Division. These guys are going into trials. Between him, the Kolsty on the main tank, when he wasn't feeding, was doing a great job there. But, some individuals that I haven't heard of before were really kind of popping off. But pick 2 people from your opinion about who were kind of the 2 MVPs from those first 2 matches.
I think Brandito gets enough credit. I think he did great. I was gonna say Colste's, tank until he fed that one time, and Mao's really kept up on that Widowmaker. Of course, it was 2 snipers and a Mercy versus only Thailand, so Widowmaker. So it's hard to say Mao's was the better Widowmaker, and then you have the NA Bing and versus EU. So, I gotta say Mao's, and then his McCree. Remember that Deadeye he did on Sanctum? That was really nice, and you don't see a lot of McCrees pop off because it's a really risky hero. But I'm looking forward to see how the next matches will go.
Excellent. Well, let's go pass it back to our casters to get their opinions, just as we're setting up the server once again. We did transition from the North American to the European servers, so we're going to finish up setting the game just as our casters kind of lead us into the next map, which we actually haven't picked yet, but as soon as we know, we'll let you know. And we're back with Blank and Ham.
Hello, everybody. Yeah, thanks, Jayne. Yeah, so we are now swapping over to the EU servers, and the question, of course, was like, oh well, we got to see what it looks like to play Doomfist on like a billion zillion ping, but we finally started to see some adaptation from Shoes and A come through in that last Hollywood map, right, Blank? We had that Genji coming out. We saw a little Widowmaker from Thailand as well.
Yeah, we absolutely did. I mean, Thailand's actually an absolute god on the Widowmaker. You know, he pulled off some amazing shots that entire game, right? And the Mercy kind of thwarts him a little bit because you can res those back up, and Colsey's always there providing the support on the top side. Jayne threw it back to us. I just want to quickly tell that Jayne threw it back to us and basically said, "Waggle your lips," and I'm very
boy, get ready.
I will oblige. But yeah, we're waiting for the next map to be picked, but the main thing we've got to look at here is the Doomfist goes in. We'll talk about this Ham as well as, and something you've got to highlight, something you've got to bring up is that Brandito drops into the backline. Colsty and Barbecue and Mouse are very happy to let Tri-Spear deal with the Doomfist. You deal with that. That's your problem, right? And Izzy's there to boop him away, and they immediately dive onto NA's backline. And there's not much they can do about it because the dive is so well coordinated. And a lot of times you don't see the Ana grenade go down because the Diva Matrix is ready and up when they come in, often eating the sleep dart, often eating the nade as they come in. And at that point, Ana's just a sitting duck, because that's why you pick Ana. You pick Ana for the nade, you pick Ana for the sleep, the utility. At this point, I wouldn't be surprised if NA moved over to a Moira pick here, as it'll just give them more survivability in the backlines when Colsty and Barbecue do jump onto them, should we see another map where that permits it. And also the added healing for this front line will be more than accepted from NA, I imagine.
Yeah, I mean, Moira is certainly a lot harder to dive. It'll take a lot more coordination for EU to overcome that. And honestly, the Reinhardt Zarya pick, it worked quite well for Shoes during NA Open Division. But when you are coming up against all that long range damage, there's nothing you can do with no verticality, no diva on the field, than just sit there and have your shield plinked down by these 2 snipers that you're just holding at bay. If anybody's ever had like an older brother, they're like, "Oh, what you doing? What you doing?" And they're like, you, right? So you can never really close the distance, and it took so long for the swap to their own Widow Genji, which you have that counter sniper to duel out the the enemy snipers, and they also have a Genji to potentially close the distance as well, make him a little bit uncomfortable, because as it was, EU basically just free firing, and that alongside that great counter dive from Colsty and Barbecue, just poor Taponzer, and not even necessarily through any fault of his own, was the first one to die over and over.
Yeah, not at all any fault of his own. Like, he's trying to get those sleep darts out, but it's a lot easier to sleep a Doomfist who's coming at you. A lot of times the abilities that you use are very easily telegraphed. Obviously, the rocket punch only goes in one linear direction. Seismic Slam is slow through the air. If you have the mechanical skill for it, which we do see Tri-Spear absolutely does have, you can quite easily sleep him through the air. Like I was saying, Diva Matrix, Winston Shield, it's so much harder. It's harder to sleep those targets, get the nade out onto them. Excuse me. In those situations, and I don't really think it's any fault of these supports, like you're saying. Like, it's just a much better, much more coordination coming out from EU. It have this almost 2 groups of 3 split off from each other, who are very, very good at operating in these 3 units, and when they come back together, they have such good target acquisition. A lot of time NA can't help it, and I think NA is so used to just having Brandito jump into the back lines, find the kills after NA makes space, and they're not used to 3 members suddenly being like, well, we don't have to focus on the Doomfist anymore because of supports. They've got that. And then this free unit comes over to their backline. They're like, well, we've never had to deal with this. We just do this to other teams.
Exactly. It is, kind of once the Doomfist no longer starts, no longer works, and teams are expecting that, what more do you have to show? You need to see a little bit more depth, because certainly, the Doomfist is all about that combo, right? You're just walking around, and if you have no cooldowns, you're just a guy with a big fist, right? And you're also not even wearing a shirt, so not even intimidating, man. As we move on to our next map, though, it will be Assault Volskaya. So this is map 3 of a best of 7 series. So at this point, NA are not quite yet out of the fight. We've talked, a little bit broadly about where they may be struggling. Blank, what do you think NA needs in order to pull a win off here on Assault?
I think we need a much more consistent dive. I don't think we can just let Brandito go into the backline anymore by himself. That's absolutely not working. We saw that Zeal was very, very happy to just play ring around the roses with him on the Genji, dashing out the way and just staying a little bit out of reach from him. So I think a more coordinated dive is to be expected from NA here as they move on to Volskaya. They will be the ones defending first. And you can just see Suck on the top side. He's just chilling here. He's looking for what the enemy teams will be using. Spotting him out because he used the boosters to get away nice and quickly. So using everything to the advantage. But here we are seeing the Genji. We're seeing the Sombra. It's going to be a classic action of the hack and slash.
Hack and slash. You hack them up, I'll cut them down. Seems to be the winning recipe for EU thus far. Shoes and A, for their credit, they will have their own Sombra Thailand, but Brandito sticking with this Doomfist. However, on a closed point like this, it's much less linear. There are more walls to work with. A little bit more of those set plays may come through, and Brandito does find Tri-Spear in the back. However, the fight still devolving here. Mouse takes down that Doomfist. He was utterly separated from all of his team, who was holed up in that mega room. Again, no communication coming through NA. They're already down 3 members, and it's only going to be a matter of time before EU take this point.
And this is exactly what I was talking about. The 2 units are working together in absolute tandem. You can't do much about it because they operate so well together. Miles immediately hacks up Suck as they come into this fight, so he's not able to hold off, take down the nade, and that is just a big part of their winning like push. Barbecue has the Diva Bomb. Miles has got the EMP. I'm imagining this is going to be a very quick snowball.
I mean, classic EMP into self-destruct. Barbecues found huge bombs before with no extra help, so this could be very deadly for this defense. You see NA are aware of this. They're playing extremely split up. They don't want to have the entire team hit by this. Colsey just taking up residence. There we have it. Big EMP out. It's going to be the self-destruct. Finds Baboon, and at the same time, Thailand goes down already. 3 members of this defense decimated. Kaboom's forced to pop that Transcendence here. The Nano Boost onto Suck as well, but she's gonna have to contend with that Genji Blade. Suck just trying desperately to stall for a little bit more time. It does allow Baboon to touch back in onto the point, but this Primal Rage going to be one of the last ultimates that NA have in their bank here. Brandito taken so incredibly low, he can't even get the Meteor Strike before he himself finds himself on the wrong end of that Genji's Blade, and EU look ready and poised to take Volskaya in just the blink of an eye.
Well now,
all right.
that went rather well, didn't it? As they come on through, and it's exactly how I said it's been going. Brandito jumps into the backline by himself once again. Tri-Spear, he's very happily pops down the nade. Izzy's there as well as to beeping away, while the rest of the team is just working absolute havoc on the point. And they got a tick by the time they had gone that through. Through goes the Diva Bomb into the back to make sure Brandito can't keep harassing their lovely healers. Baboon somehow catches the bright lights of Doom and goes down. And that's it.
Go towards the light, man.
Exactly on the clock. Not that. We don't talk about that.
Yeah, and that is a massive time bank. I mean, Assault 2 CP, 6, 7, 8 CP, we've even seen it, but 6 minutes is still impressive amongst all the time banks that we've ever seen here. And it's just so rare that we actually see the snowball happen. Blank, I mean, EU, they had those tools. They won such a decisive fight on point A that NA really, there was no gas in the tank in terms of ultimates. But to see that coordination once again to get maximum value from each one of those ultimates and, win out that point B in a single push, very impressive stuff.
Very, very impressive indeed. And just to let you guys know, player 2 is Zeal. If you weren't aware, I did just quickly ask in chat, and I've been informed by lovely Jayne and Lemon Kiwi who are on the desk. So he is not a randomly new player who's just somehow find our way into the lobby and is also conveniently a 4.4k player. No, it is Zeal.
Yeah, that's not your Smurf, Blank. I mean, you.
Nah, it's not. I'm just playing the game, commentating at the same time. You know how it is.
This is a man of many talents. We're going to see if defense is one of EU's talents here. They are now set up. All they have to do in order to take a third map win in a row is hold NA before they complete the map as well. It has been done before. Volskaya is certainly one of those places that we can see full holds happen. And there is going to be the same DPS duo coming in on the side of the attack once again. Dive initiates in Baboon. Oh, and they do manage to find Colsey. That was actually an excellent boop, I believe, from Kabooms to separate Colsey just slightly from the warm defense matrix of Barbecue. However, the rest of EU, they're playing their positioning safe.
Yeah, but this is it. What we've seen so far is there's just been better coordination on the side of EU, a better mindset all in all as they come through. But now, as we see NA, they performed that first dive absolutely perfectly. Brandito goes in, and you know what? Winston comes in on the backline, helps Brandito do effectively what he wants to do, and it's just easy pickings from that.
Easy pickings indeed. Brandito, though, does go down. NA so close to finishing this out, but they have to weather this blade first. Nano Boost helps player 2. Zeal find the Ana in the backline. Kabooms falls prey to Colsey, and that's going to be no supports on the side of NA and a quick reset. Should be a quick reset. What you doing, Baboon?
He's still on it. He's just jumping around. Mouse is here. Oh, takes it as he gets his little toe on the point before he falls down. Izzy's moving backwards quite quickly. Obviously, does not have an escape tool on that. Zenyatta needs to get back to the point. Preemptive Diva Matrix on top of him as well. As Barbecue, you really do love to keep your support safe.
If only we could all have divas like Barbecue in our ranked games. Jeffsus, please. But there will be an EMP on the side of EU. That could be enough to hold.
6 minutes 14 though. It's a very similar time to EU, so they're not letting up whatsoever. But this is point B, where it's a lot harder to hold. Zeal is sleeping on the top side. Preemptive Diva Matrix is going down all over the place to make sure that Zeal survives this one as he goes up and down on the elevator. Hacked up though.
Hacked up, he's just going to use the regular old W to run away. And NA right now, they're playing so incredibly conservative. Finally, Baboon does make the entrance, steals this high ground for his team right here, but Brandito falling down. They want to see if they can punish Colsey right here, but he did have that Primal Rage at the ready to save himself. Big EMP in now from Thailand, but it didn't catch the Zenyatta. Izzy now in, providing some of that massive healing, but regardless, Zeal does fall. He had that blade at the ready, but so far NA, they're still not pushing in decisively. They haven't quite yet committed, but with that kill onto Mouse, no, Baboon falls as well. So these have just been trades even back and forth thus far.
Zeal, he has the Dragon Blade, does pull it out now. Immediately, Brandito takes it down, will move back in the back lines, takes down Kabooms as well, as Colsey is just holding on, being that front line. And Zeal, just before he gets hacked up, will hold on to this one.
Yeah, NA looking a little bit discombobulated right there. There were a couple of instances where they had a man advantage, but, you know, it just didn't seem like the time was right. They didn't move forward.
Yeah, never mind player 3 enter this game, and this time it is player 2. I say that as soon as he goes down, casts his curse. Once again, there you are, and I instigate that through Organized Ritual.
Too powerful, Blank. You're just too powerful right here. Colsey as well. Oh, manages to barely stay alive, but he is once again separated from his team. Oh, man. Is the mispositioning contagious? That's going to be a 6v5 on the point right here. Mouse, though, buying a little bit of time with a big EMP. Catches many of the members of NA as they try and push in here. It will not keep Taponzer, though, from putting that nano boost onto Suck, just applying some of that Diva's shotgun tickle damage. And now Thailand's own EMP comes through. Barbecue falls, and so slowly NA grinding their way through the wall of defenders.
Yeah, absolutely. Zeal's been hacked in this fight for the past about 12 seconds. Finally, he's been put out of his misery. Baboon, straight to the point. Barbecue just trying to make the best of things.
Barbecue trying to make the best of things. Hacked, punched, oh, D-Mexed as well. But Colsey is in the backline trying to see if he can find some of that counter dive magic of old. But It will not be working just quite out the way he wanted to. Forced now to pop that Primal Rage. He's antied, but the Nano Boost goes on to player 2. Oh, goodness, taken so incredibly low. Sound barrier there in response. Player 2 goes down. Mouse throws out that EMP, but has to duck out of harm's way. Does allow Izzy to get that sound barrier onto the remaining members of the defenders, but with all of the numbers going the way of NA right here, there's still a Primal Rage online just to bat away anybody getting any cheeky ideas. Doomfist tries to defeat himself with the rocket punch of Brandito. He won't be long for this world here as NA also complete Volskaya.
Colsty takes a trip downtown, managed to get him through the door as well. That's impressive, fans. That's great uses of the loop there. I love that. That was probably the longest fight, and I can actually still hear the doot of the point ticking on over in the old defenders on top of it at the same time. But finally and surely, 3 minutes 7. It's half of the time bank that EU has, but it's definitely not half the chances they still absolutely are in this one.
Certainly, NA are not rolling over, showing their bellies just yet, but it was certainly not quite as coordinated. You know, a pretty brutal, very drawn out battles, but a win is a win. However, they do now have to try and see how much they can get done with 3 minutes in the clock. Brandito seemed to be getting a lot more value from the Doomfist that time around. You think it was EU getting a little bit too comfortable?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, Colsty, once again, he's doing Colsty things in the backline. I think he's playing a little bit more aggressive than he might do normally, but he has been pulling it back, reining it back in as he moves out to rain at those final moments there. But so far, NA, they've been looking a lot more coordinated. I've been really impressed by Thailand. His moments when he comes in with the EMPs and the hacks have been phenomenal, keeping Zeal shut down for 10 seconds or more in a single fight.
Yeah, and that is 10 seconds. You won't be charging that blade, won't be getting any of those finishing dash throughs to confirm your team's kills. Baboon just looking for a little bit of cleave damage, jumps up on top, and he will be aided by Suck as Brandito goes far into the backline. Eats a nade, and it is a tale as old as time. Doomfist is now out of the fight. However, NA still poking around the edges of this point, looking for any extra picks.
Absolutely. Baboon's on the point still at the moment. Colsey drops a shield on the side, which kind of cuts off the healing a little bit, so anyone wants to get onto the high ground. This bio grenade is going to keep them nice and healthy, but Suck is very low, does get nice and healed up towards the end of that. Nano boost for Teponza, so they will just sit this one out, take it a little bit more slowly as Tri-Spear desperately tries to get to a nano boost of his own.
He really wants it. It would be great to throw into a Winston in combination with an EMP, and there we have it. Mouth throws it out on point, catches Suck. Everybody working so hard to DMX this D.Va, but in the backline, Brandito working even harder. However, player 2 wants to have that final word, manages to get that little baby D.Va, but not before he himself falls. So again, a very knockdown, drag out fight for NA, and they will walk away without a tip.
1, 2, 3 shrimps on the Barbie for barbecue towards the end of that fight there. Absolutely well played from this guy. But Thailand, he has that EMP. We've seen how effective he has been with before. And if they can effectively match this one up with the D.Va bomb as well, as this is going to be great. There is Zeal back in the fight against the Doomfist. Going to be hiding around the sides. And as long as they don't press tab, they should know he's on it for the time being. These are high-level teams. We can expect that from them.
Yeah, Thailand getting a little bit caught out. You see player 2 chasing that Sombra, but it's going to be Mouse falling first. That is indeed bad. The defensive respawns are so far away. That's going to trigger that Primal Rage. Brandito is out of the fight. Self-destruct also being used by Barbecue. There aren't going to be any kills resulting from that ultimate. I mean, NA still holding on to that EMP, and there we go. Doesn't catch the Lucio, however, so EU still holding on to this defense right now. NA just trying to wait to see if they can get a full 6-man engage, and it looks like everybody will be on the objective now, but again, rather split attention. Kabooms eats a giant nade. He's down to Ponzer as well. Colsey cleaning things up here as Mouse takes down Brandito, and NA getting dissembled once again.
That's it. Colsey gets back to cover, and don't worry, chat, the music was just on to make that fight a little bit more intense for you. We might put it on later on, we don't know. You just gotta wait and see.
Exactly. Gotta stay tuned here. NA lose Thailand right off the bat. Ooh, this might be a Primal Rage just to try and touch the point. NA waiting. There's 15 seconds left. Ponzer has 1 nano boost to give. Who is it going to be on? Brandito, do you believe that the fist won't miss? No cooldowns at all. The lights have been turned off by Mouse, and Ponzer falls once again. It is going to be a sure defense here for EU as desperation fills the side of NA right here. There's still a Primal Rage left, but with no compatriots here, Baboon finds himself hacked, deleted, and EU looking ready to hold.
Absolutely. Do you believe in Doom after Doom? And Mouse, he says absolutely not.
Do you believe in Doom after Doom? Yeah.
I'm so glad you did that.
I don't know if the same could be said for the audience. Sorry, guys.
Sorry.
Yeah, it was no Mei on the field. Maybe, who knows? Maybe NA should pull out Make because the Doomfist once again not working out, man.
It looks much better towards the beginning. Brandito was playing with his team, and then they just started to get a more and more split once again, going back to what we saw the likes of on Hollywood. Tri-Spear able to effectively split them apart with the barrett grenades that went down and the sleep darts that came out. Mouse playing so very efficiently on this Sombra, coming in and out of fights. It was just difficult to deal with him because he was in the fight, pumping up towards his EMP, and then out the fight. And when he was back in again, he was getting those critical hacks onto the Diva on the side of Suck, and also onto Brandito when he came in. Brandito had some special moments there towards the middle of that fight where he took down Mouse and he also took down Tri-Spear at the same time. It's just tough for them. There are these glimmers of hope. There are these glimmers of brilliance coming out from NA, but so far EU are just so playing everything so much better.
Yeah, those are some clean, crisp comms. You know, the Q-tip stash on the EU side, well used, well stocked, because everybody seems to know where everybody else on the team is at all moments, so it's very difficult to separate any one weak member from the herd. And already, Mouse gets taken down by Thailand, but not before he is able to take out Kabooms. And with Izzy on that Mercy, that means that EU back to their full 6-man strength. Brandito now on this Doomfist. It's time to capture that value right there as he's just hanging around looking for targets. And this seems to be the difficulty with NA. They are playing very low tempo as they're looking for openings. And that's going to be an opening in the ground for Brandito's grave. Suck falls as well. And this is looking to be a very quick one-tick take.
No, this was a comp there. It's playing with mono healer. Tri-Spear's emoting. It has so much damage. You got the Hanzo, you've got the Hog, you got the Diva, you got the Orisa, you got the Widow as well. As you saw how quickly Suck died, even with the barrett grenade on top of him. It's just so much damage coming out from the Mercy in this composition. It's absolutely crazy. And there it is. There's the best play of the game. We love that one. Mouse takes it away, and he doesn't even have to use EMP to take it either. It was just a very, very good player. Very good game for EU, and like Jayne likes to say, it's 6 pairs of eyes relaying information to 6 sets of ears, and not a single thing seems to get past this team.
No, not at all. And wielding that Sombra against a Doomfist is not something that we see too often. But as we checked out that play of the game, Mouse, really using that his mobility and that invisibility to his advantage. Brandito, really didn't have too much of a chance. He ease into that backline, gets hacked, and then there's no way, even if his team wanted to back him up, that they could get there in time. And so just masterfully played by EU. And I know some folks who are just cannot wait to break down what we just saw on Volskaya. So Jayne, Lemon, take it away.
Well, hello again, and welcome back. That's just finished map 3, going, towards EU, but of course NA wasn't shut out, at least on their first attempt. Both, no, we had a DC. Which means that Lemon gets scuffed. There we go. Welcome back.
Why do I get scuffed? No.
Well, yeah, it's you can't have an Overwatch tournament without some musical interludes and camera malfunctions and all that.
NA production.
NA production. Running tournaments is hard. That is what I've learned. But
words are hard. Production is hard.
It's it's challenging. But regardless, playing Overwatch, that's the easy part. Anybody could be champions of the Open Division. But no, EU's going up 3-0, and I'd like to say that was a surprise, but of course, with EU taking the first 2 maps on the NA servers, And now is on the EU servers, they're feeling right at home. They're feeling comfortable. They've got that ping advantage, which is, again, the person who's going to be made the most inconvenienced by this higher ping is, of course, going to be Brandito. And Brandito is kind of the man who, at least from a spectator's perspective, is how Shoes Money Crew NA has kind of built themselves around, making Brandito as effective as possible, covering for him, or just thriving in the chaos that a good Doomfist can really create for you.
And I want to shout out Thailand. I think he had a really good performance as Sombra, and before his other Sombras, I felt like he wasn't enabling anybody with his Sombra. And using that Sombra, it's all about hacking, and then, the hacking fist, I guess, with Brandito coming in with that. And on the NA's attack, I think they looked much, much more coordinated. They got the point within around the first fight, an extended fight nonetheless. Then they move into point B, where it took a little bit more time, so a 3-minute time bank difference. But I feel that Thailand was getting a lot of critical hacks, and his team were actually reacting to it. That's the whole point of Sombra. You can get some nice hacks. If nobody notices it, well, is it a nice hack? So he was going after the divas, mainly Barbecue. He was shutting down Zeal's Genji. So I think Thailand really part of NA's attacks. So that was the first round, 3-minute time bank difference. But then NA got completely shut out there, and I'm gonna have to get your opinion on that. Why did NA get shut out on their second attack?
Well, I think I know the spectator. I don't know who that spectator is, but he seemed to have done a great job of catching that, first attack there from Brandito. Brandito's an individual who doesn't just, play Doomfist and know his combos and all that. He knows the rollouts for each and every single map, and I actually saw a rollout that I didn't even know existed off of the little forklift there on the side of Volskaya. But you see him using the rocket punch off of this little tiny piece of geometry to get some elevation, to dive right onto where he knows the supports are, because the supports have been scouted for him by Thailand, who, as you say, has been doing just a fantastic job on Sombra. But one of the things that you have to kind of, realize is going to be a pretty important factor in this matchup between these two teams is Doomfist has been picked first by basically on all of the maps, all of the rounds. Doomfist has been NA's go-to pick, which makes it makes it a lot easier for them to be able to predict how NA is going to play. It's not like you have Doomfist played on the maps where he's strong or anything like that. They're playing Doomfist everywhere and having to work around that. And when you're on maps like Volskaya, especially when you're on defense, they have to attack you at some point in time. And you saw that very first kind of counter dive attempt. Brandito went in a little bit ahead. They managed to get Ponzor onto a sightline where they could try and assist that dive. But when you have 4 people converging onto you as Doomfist, when you're trying to roll out into the opponent's backline, in ranked, you're going to get away with that. But against a team at the Shoes Money Crew level, as well as a team that knows they're playing against a Doomfist at Brandito's level, unless you're really, really covering Brandito's assaults here, he's going to get countered over, he's going to get stunned or hacked, or, his uppercut combos are going to get defense matrix. It's going to be a lot harder, the higher teams that you play, to actually pull off those combos without your entire team assisting in making them find value.
And there were so many threats against Brandito. You had 2 CC supports, Lucio and Ana, can either sleep him or boop him away, or you had the Diva that could go after him. Then they had a Sombra, Mao's Sombra, specifically focusing down Brandito whenever he would go in and he'd get hacked. And once a Doomfist is hacked, he's so screwed if he's so deep into that backline. So NA playing this one-dimensional offense or defense or composition is causing EU to adapt so easily, whether it's the double sniper on Hollywood, whether it's just throwing a Sombra at Brandito or matching. I think we saw a little bit of Doomfist from EU as well. I just feel like Brandito's getting hard countered, and I'm wondering if he has another card up his sleeve.
We'll have to find out, as we are going to be going into the 4th map on Dorado, but we'll get, maybe Ham and Blank will have a little bit of different insight on what's going to go down and how NA can make this 3-1 instead of being shut out in the Shoes Money Crew showdown. Ham, Blank, back to you.
Shoes Money shut down. You hate to see it, but it's looking a little bit rough for NA right now. Blank, they're sitting at 0-3 in a best of 7. So as Jayne said, this is their last chance to mount that potential reverse sweep. I don't know if we're gonna see it, but if we were to start to see, the beginnings of those little glimmers of hope, what would you love to see from this team?
Well, as an analyst, it's just a lot that goes into it, and I mean, there's just so many different things that have to change here. And the main thing, it's a really difficult thing, is just switch Doomfist forehead. Come on.
Doomfist switch. Doomfist
switch.
Yeah.
Put more gold.
I mean, I can't say anything because my Doomfist literally exists only to feed, but it clearly isn't quite giving you the same results that you had during open division. So it would be lovely to see what it looks like with that Genji Sombra, maybe a Genji Widow. Dorado, of course, kind of one of the OG Widow maps. A lot of great long sightlines, especially around this first point.
Yeah, I mean, Dorado's a really interesting map, and you know what? To be honest, I take it back. I mean, Doomfist here, Dorado is probably one of the best maps for Doomfist, especially for Brandito, because there are so many different playstyles for Doomfist. Brandito's specific playstyle for Doomfist is a rollout Doomfist, where he finds these weird areas where he can get these 125 damage seismic slams, and there's no better place to do it but the high buildings on Dorado. So it's going to put it's going to be a bit harder for EU to make their way in because he's going to be always in the back line. You're not sure where he's going to come from because Brandito, you got to give it to him. He did pioneer a lot of these loadouts and rollouts for Doomfist himself. But EU, they've got a shackle around NA at the moment, and they're not letting go anytime soon.
Yeah, the noose tightening a little bit here. Brandito, though, yes, trying to make use of that high ground, but all the information he gets is, we got to back up, guys. Let's play this in Courtyard as we do have the Reinhardt and Zarya 4 NA rolling out once again. EU pulling that Genji Sombra dive, and already Mouse here using that infinite stealth, looking for that perfect hack target. And no, it's going to be a Bionade that sends Thailand packing. There is a Brigitte on the field, misses that shield bash. Oh no, but player 2 still forced back for now.
Colsty is the most annoying Doomfist. He got right around the backside. In comes the Genji, and just so much attention taken away from him, so he can just quickly right-click into this team over and over.
Ooh, and Brandito, he's trying his best right here to support the backline, but the fist does miss. And anytime you're using your cooldowns just to get out of harm's way, means that you're not going to be able to use them offensively here as Shoes EU. They're riding that payload all the way to point A. Easy peasy.
Baboon was just swinging away at the Primal Raging Monkey in here. Colsey's just stood still, just swinging away. 40 damage at a time. Slowly but surely, it will take down the Reinhardt. Now, this second point is probably the hardest cookie to crack in all of maps of Overwatch because there is so much high ground to contest. This is why you play the Winston D.Va into it. It's going to be so much more easy for EU as they're coming into this one with the D.Va bomb and already a lot of charge on that Winston, whereas Suck and Baboon, they both had to switch off. Thailand finding the pick onto Thailand is going to make things difficult, but out comes the Genji Blade.
Out comes the Genji Blade, going to be mitigated by that Sound Barrier, but not enough to save Taponzer. Everybody is fighting on the payload except poor little Ana. The knees, not quite what they used to be, not able to get out of that Genji's way right there. Now, EMP into self-destruct, not going to be picking up any kills right now, but EU trying their best to clean things up. And A, though, staying alive for now. Big Boop going to knock Colsty out of the way. He's getting taken extremely low. He manages to survive, and in the meantime, it's going to be player 2, otherwise known as Zeal, getting the drop onto Kabooms. And EU took a little bit longer there, but still just as clean of a fight.
Definitely dominant. You're completely correct there. Things just went in the favor of them. Out comes Zeal with the Genji Blade that is nano boosted as well. It's great to see when they go one member down and they still know that they can win the fight off the ultimates they have. It's a great decision making. Whoever is doing the communication for EU is doing a brilliant job of it.
Yeah, we saw right there Brandito trying to get on top of player 2, but the D.Va was there to provide that defense matrix, keep him alive. And in the meantime, though, Thailand on the ground with this Brigitte has been putting in the work, manages to take out Izzy, and the rest of EU now deciding to back off just for now, but they still have plenty of ults.
Zeal is just being a little bit annoying. He does manage to demech Suck, who is forced to jump off the map here. Given the time that is remaining, possibly EU can get into the next fight whilst Suck gets back in from spawn. This would be the great time to go for it, but they are underneath the bridge here. This makes things very difficult and a lot easier for Brandito because it's just much easier during these little enclosed spaces for the Doomfist to operate.
Closed spaces, and you can drop down on their heads without having to use that cooldown right there. He's going in deep, barely misses that Diva, but player 2 does fall. Rally out now from Thailand alongside that Meteor Strike. Hey, Brandito definitely waking up here, warming up, finds both supports by himself.
Well, you know what? EU is very happy to get towards the 6-pack, and sooner rather than later, hopefully, they're just going to crack open all the tinnies, all the ultimates here, and possibly just take this point quite convincingly. We do have a Nano Boost. We still have retained armor from that last fight. A Diva Bomb and the Primal Rage can be used in tandem together to maybe possibly move them into spaces where they are not covered for the Diva Bomb itself. But still, you know what? EU are looking strong here.
Ooh, played out right there, but Brandito's dive a little bit stronger. Oh, it will be a 2-for-2 trade right now. Baboon nano boosted, but all those jumps taken away.
There's
He
no
won't
shield
fall at the hands of Barbecue. No static shielding right here at all for NA and Shoes EU. You're right, Blank. They were just biding their time.
Absolutely. Not Thailand, guys, has been playing so very well. He basically Brigitte bopped the Genji as he came in, and Zeal knows he has to go for the Brigitte as he goes in forwards because he's the main target that's going to disrupt his Genji plays. So we can take him out straight away with the help of Barbecue. It's going to make this fight a lot easier. He's not able to do it, but slowly but surely, this is just a stalled fight for NA. EU are looking to take this one.
A slugfest right here. Two very angry Wistons bruising their counterparts. A rally does come out from Thailand. NA, I mean, they're still holding. This has been quite a long and drawn out siege battle, but Brandito falls, and oh no, due to that split up team fight, NA are going to let that Prelude slide into point B.
The rally found absolutely no value there as it comes out. All it stalls is about 10 seconds, and EU are very happy to take that away from them. We will now have a blade that's not going to be encumbered by the actual armor from the rally itself. Tri-Spear doesn't have a nano boost, so it will be a naked blade on top of the EMP that comes out. Let's see if they can do any work with it, or will the Brigitte and the Doomfist be able to thwart the attempts of the Genji?
Ooh, Maus, though, can get rid of all possibility of running away with a single Q press. No, Suck does manage to find Izzy with that self-destruct, so Mao's going to be holding his hand just for now, as EU are going to be pushed back in all likelihood, especially with that DMAC.
That's a pretty unfortunate fight. Zeal tries to go in with the blade, and again, like I was saying, it is a naked blade, and they just play basketball with him, bouncing him all around with the boops and the Doomfist and the whip shot itself. Colsty will have the Primal Rage with the EMP as well as Ham, so this next fight could be juicy.
Definitely going to be a lot of particle effects flying regardless, as Mao's now stealthed looking for his prime targets. EMP, he held his hand last time around, but everybody grouped up, self-destruct in. Will it catch anybody? No, not even a self-destruct. Kaboom's on point with that sound barrier, keeping the defense alive, but of course, you can't just sustain, you also have to be able to find those kills. Brandito gonna try his best, throws out that meteor strike, but with the sound barrier keeping everybody up and healthy, it's gonna be on Baboon now. Pops that Primal Rage and does pick off Tri-Spear in the back. Payload finally finding a stopping point here, and NA are going to be able to hold in all likelihood, but with that pulse bomb coming in from Zeal, Kabooms is out of the fight, and now the tanks forced to regroup close to spawn.
An absolutely disgusting sleep on the Brandito towards the beginning of that fight there from Tri-Spear once again. Still, the dive is much more coordinated. Out comes the Diva Bomb, going to create some space for EU as they get on the point here, refine themselves. Out comes the Nano Boost onto Barbecue, just gets right in the face of Thailand.
Yeah, he's just eating up that defense matrix, gonna force Suck to use that self-destruct. Also does not connect on any kills, but does find that DMEC onto Barbecue. So still a little bit of value, but time to kill has been a huge issue for NA thus far. Sound barrier, oh man, not all of those shields were negated by that EMP though, so NA, they're still alive for now. Maus though does go down. That's going to be a 6v5 here on the point. 5 seconds left. EU, this may be where the buck stops. Are there any more bodies? No. Unfortunately, Zeal not quite able to touch in time.
Yeah, Taponza coming up huge there. The silent hero in this composition on the Ana managed to drop down a lovely bat grenade onto Colsey as he tried to move forward. So he's so low, but it didn't matter. Even as he dropped up the shield, the Tesla cannon obviously pierces that. And even though 60 damage per second is not huge, it will still take you down slowly but surely as long as nothing else is healing you. So it looks like NA have finally found themselves here on Dorado, and it is the map where they will be working the best, especially with Brandito on that Doomfist. I really like what I'm seeing here, Ham. Hopefully EU, they can pull out something special on the defense here. I'd like to see what they run versus this Doomfist, especially with so many flanks available to him on first point.
A lot of narrow corridors, a lot of winding hallways to take your enemy by surprise. So you're right, Blank. There's a lot of potential here for those ganks. NA definitely. We also saw Baboon and Suck playing much more coordinated. Where one went, you often saw the other one following, so that they weren't getting picked off and isolated by themselves. So NA certainly waking up. There is a win condition without going into extra innings, which is going to be their best hope. If they can take that cart to the golden box of victory, they will have racked up their first win so far in this series. And how do you feel about this defense? No static shielding. If Colsey stays on this Hammond, it'll be certainly, very unusual. One of the first times we've seen this duo played in recent memory.
So the main thing I'm seeing here is the mobility from both the DPS and the tank line, whereas we have this healer. You have the healers here. You got Trispear, you've got Zenyatta, both very static heroes, no sign of escape tools. Obviously, Ana, she does have the sleep dart, will be able to keep the Orb of Harmony on her as well, as so keeping both of them alive nice and easy. But this tank line is going to be so much in your face. Colsey switches over to Winston now, so there will be potential for him to come back to the group and keep them nice and healthy should they need to. But a lovely sleep onto Izzy is going to make this so easy for Brandito if he should want it.
Oh, he's biding his time for now, sticking just with this payload. There's a Genji in the backline. Finally, he gets out of dodge, but Colsey does fall, potentially mispositioned due to his late entry into this fight. Suck, Baboon trading off, trying to get that high ground for their own team, but Baboon himself falls. However, we do need to remember attacking spawns do favor NA at the moment.
They are so close to winning this entire best of 7 Ham here. This is the fourth map. If EU take this, they win the best of 7 itself. So really, it's all lies on NA now. They have to absolutely take this one all the way to that golden box of victory, like you were saying, to even have a hope of staying within this tournament.
Indeed, and we see Mouse on that high ground. Player 2 dashing EMP. Will the blade come out? No! NA is trapped inside this tiny room. Chapones are the first one down. EU is going to try and work their way forward the old-fashioned way, just some vanilla Overwatch. Now is the time for the blade, says Zeal. He unleashes it, having a hard time finding any kills though. Thailand on this Nikita playing keep away, but Brandito does fall. It is now a 4v4. The cart actually hasn't moved. There's nobody touching the payload. It's going to be all about those Lucio kills. Instead, it's Kaboom, showing what's what. Get that boot kill onto Trispear, and finally NA regroup to get some distance.
That is so frustrating. Mouse is in the backline there the entire time, keeping the payload not moving. This might enable a recontest for EU here. Barbecue can just get his feet on this one.
Ooh, and he does. He touches Mouse, forced to use that translocate, the self-destruct is so close. Didn't find any kills though. Trispear takes down Thailand in that backline. Transcendence out now for Izzy, trying to keep the hopes alive, and this defense looks like it will hold. Oh, Baboon tries to get out of dodge, but cut down mid-leap as player 2, Zeal, pulls out his own Doomfist to seal the deal.
They're just like, pretend it never happened, guys. We'll just defend on point A like the payload never moved an inch. Oh, I saw it happening as well, as I was like, no, don't D.Va self-destruct here. There's no one else in the payload. It will move fast enough, but he does it anyway. Doesn't matter. They will hold nice and strong for the time being.
Yeah, Brandito finds Trispear, though. The nano boost is powering him up. He has to connect, though. It's going to be Baboon getting that 2K. Oh, who says anger doesn't get you anywhere? 3 kills for Baboon right there. And NA's tank starting to wake up here. Brandito getting value as well.
The Kung Fists of Fury absolutely come out in those last moments from Baboon, slamming them all over the place, and he's absolutely happy with that, throwing the entirety of the team EU from one corner of EU to the other. Now, it will be fist versus fist here, the two golden guns, but Suck will be the one to finish him off. And they are playing so far upwards, just leaving Taponza on the point to just get that payload rolling.
I mean, NA giving EU a taste of their own medicine, working that chaos. Self-destruct in from Suck. Doesn't pick up anything, but Brandito is able to get that uppercut kill onto Mao. So EU, not really anything of a street space defense. They're going to bank it all on holding on third. Oh, as I say that.
Just be here sandbagging, possibly.
Potentially, you never know. I mean, Colsey just doing the mannequin challenge, standing still, nano boosted on the payload. Barbecue self-destruct finds Thailand, but that is going to be an even trade here. 5v3 on the point, and maybe EU getting a tad bit too comfortable as NA look ready to get this point B.
Yeah, but NA did hold it here on second point, and it was maybe not the same kind of time bank. There's possibility to hold it, especially on this corner. There are so many angles that you can hold down on EU, and nice little safe zones on the left-hand side, as well as the high ground. It depends exactly what they play here. We have Mal switching over the McCree to help counter the Doomfist as he comes into the fight, and Zeal switches over the Regito as well. So they have so much to catch the Doomfist. I mean, if they've got nets galore right now.
Nets galore. Oh, but this isn't the fishing portion of a Zelda game. This is Overwatch. Big anti-nade does mean that Zeal will fall, but again, it is a 1-for-1 trade. Nano boost now going on to the Brigitte. Just press W and mouse 1. It is working out. Tri-Spear falls in the meantime. Suck manages to take out Izzy, but it's going to be a high noon from the back. Will it pay dividends? No. Mouse falls at the hands of Taponzer. Big anti-nade onto Colsey. Now there is going to be no Primal Rage to save this monkey, and Shoes NA look ready to take their first win in this Shoes Money Showdown. Brandito, though, does fall, but there's only 2 bodies left for the defenders right here. However, one of them is going to be Zeal's. Brigida takes down Thailand, but not before he himself falls at the hands of Baboon. So once again, just going to be a little bit of hard eye contact before finally NA retreats.
They are forced backwards, the two teams staring each other down. Do not go quietly into the dark, says NA. They will not try to lose here today. They do want to stay in this showdown. And you know what? EU absolutely want to win it here and now. They stay on the point. Out comes the nano boost onto Baboon.
Sending that angry monkey into the backline, trying to get that cleave going. Oh, Tri-Spear smashes Q just in time, but there is a big giant nanobade, means Colsey not going to get any of that healing. However, no kills for all of that investment from NA. That is going to be nobody on the kill feed. Shoes EU continuing to hold, but player 2, Zeal, does pop that rally. Self-destruct out now from Barbecue. Going to land on the platform. A little bit mispositioning. Rare from this player as Baboon falls right there. Brandito forced to back off and cede a little bit of space. However, NA, they're all in now. 1 minute 55. Suck sends that self-destruct in deep, trying to clear that backline, but EU reacting perfectly here, using that bubble. Now Colsey will have the Primal Rage as well. Finds Taponzer, and this has been insane so far, Blank.
Mal's got caught in the corner there, and you know what? Colsey comes in with a hero play, pops the Primal Rage, absolutely eats the Rocket Fist, but they're still going on the point. Brandito's going huge.
Brandito's going huge. Thailand as well. That's going to be 3 kills going the way of Brigida, support hero, by the way. And NA will take their first map win here on Dorado.
Oh my lord, they absolutely have done it, boys. They've made it back. It's 3-1. They will not be losing here today. Right now, EU will have to keep on going, keep on plugging away into the night. God, it's been a tough one, Hammer. It's been an absolute tough one, but finally, NA, they make their stand.
Oh, absolutely. Sandbagging, potentially. I mean, EU getting too comfortable there. There's a lot of possibilities. So, Jayne, Lemon, a lot to break down in a very back and forth Dorado map. How did NA do it?
Well, Lemon, how did they do it? You start us off here while I start
on
the
the
game.
spot.
Well, I got to start getting the game moving back to NA because unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on who you're cheering for, this was not a 4-0. You know, it wasn't looking very good, but maybe it's just 3 games to warm up for Brandito and the rest of his team, you know, Brandito and his friends. But we're going to be heading back to the NA servers. So, you know, maybe the European ping, especially on that Doomfist, wasn't as big of a deal as we thought it would be. You know, Brandito still looked to be effective. It didn't look like he was holding his team back or anything. But overall, what caused NA to wake up? Do we have the makings of a reverse sweep, or is this just kind of a hiccup for EU?
I think it was all, I'm mentioning Thailand again, but not because of his skill. I think the hero choice was pivotal here for NA. Having the Brigitte was able to shut down Zeal on his Genji, forcing him to play other things like the Tracer. Who knows why he pulled out Tracer against Brigitte? But Tracer, then he was pulling out, what else? He went on his, I think, a Doomfist at one point. So Thailand on this Brigitte aided NA to actually get cart pressure, which was what they were struggling with. NA just kept chasing kills, and then they would end up out of position from chasing for so long, but they felt so much more focused by having that Brigitte. They're able to stay around the cart, and once EU was proactively diving them, there's Brigitte, there's Thailand with the Brigitte stunning them, there's sleeps coming in and everything. So NA felt much more coordinated, and yes, we were just into the 4th map, and NA feels just warmed up now. But I think the Brigitte swap was exactly what NA needed to start slowing down EU's attack.
You know, and the two people that I'd like to point out that did a fantastic job and I feel are kind of like the foundations of the NA team are going to be the two supports, Kabooms and Taponzor. Taponzor on that Ana, you know, he doesn't really go for those big flashy plays. We've seen a few times. It was very early on the maps where he was landing those kind of like big flanking purples or whatnot, but those seemed like very planned. It didn't really seem like that was part of his playstyle. And his playstyle almost seems relaxed, kind of just like he knows that he's in a good position, he's safe, and he's just churning out that value. You know, he's landing those huge nades, whether there's big buffs to keep his team alive, or he's landed an absolutely incredible amount of sleeps. So he's been doing an absolutely fantastic job. And then we've seen Kaboom's, the charge rate of his ultimate has been absolutely incredible. And then the timing use of that ultimate, you know, we saw during 2 different EMPs, he completely counteracted them by kind of baiting Maz into dropping that EMP. And then Kaboom's was just around the corner and he kept everybody up and allowed for that counter push. So, you know, we're talking about the big pop-off plays from the DPS, but I really think the supports did such a great job of keeping them alive, keeping them in the fight. And that last slugfest of Dorado, the final fight that really allowed NA to complete that capture, that was made possible from the duo of Kabooms and especially Taponzor, who was just on fire in that backline, keeping them in the fight, keeping them healthy.
I was a big fan of Trispier, Zenyatta, and also the Ana at the start of Dorado. Trispier, I don't know if he caught it at the play of the game, but he was actually landing sleeps onto Brandito, keeping himself alive. And if you're able to keep yourself alive as an Ana against a Doomfist, that's so valuable for the continuation of the fight for your team. So he was landing sleeps and anti-heals and actually 1v1ing Brandito a few times. And then he switches to Zenyatta, where his transcendences were trying to allow EU to keep up that cart pressure. And ultimately at the end, it was NA that outlasted EU at the end, and that was a good match. I'm happy this isn't a 4-0.
I'm happy it isn't a 4-0 either. And actually, the teams have decided to stay on the European server. They said that loser picks server. We've just changed the rules halfway through, but both teams have agreed to stick on the European server. So we're actually not going back to NA because planning's for suckers. But the last person that I kind of wanted to shout out there was going to be Zeal, or as you may know him if you're just tuning in now, Player 2. As I've been kind of trying my best to make sure that I spectate the ults when and where I can. However, Zeal has been consistently charging those ultimates, especially in the opening fights of the game, faster than almost everybody. So he's not an individual who you're seeing go for these big assassination plays or these big kind of like backline frags, which is much more the play style of the Doomfist. But when he's on Genji, he's playing for those blades, he's getting them fast, and then he's coming up huge. So look for him. If we're going to see more Genji play, he's going to be one to watch for. But our next map, we started off with Nepal, so we're going back to Control, and this one is Ilios. So we'll pass over back to Blank and Ham, see what they have to think as we head back to Control.
Back to Control, Jayne, and if we remember from earlier in this tournament, that was Shoes Money Crew EU taking Nepal in a decisive fashion. So, will this be kind of the same story, or is NA going to continue their role? They got their first win. Are they going to be hungry enough for another?
Absolutely. And I mean, a team can stumble for only so long before they fall or stand up straight. And it looks like NA have finally found their footing here on the 4th map. We will be heading into the 5th map now, which is Ilios itself. We're jumping straight onto Well to begin with. So expect to see a lot of lovely boops coming out from either side. Faz is a disgusting Lucio, as is Izzy. So I'm excited to see both of these guys play.
Yeah, there have been quite a few notable boops. There's so much potential here. If only we had a Booposaurus, we could have him rate all the various boops.
Know,
We're
right?
no
Boop
doubt
rating.
likely to see boop rating, right? That is it's like those Michelin stars. You really want 3 points. Kabooms, Izzy certainly going to be looking for those opportunities. Brandito as well. And there will be an Orisa potentially on the field on the side of NA. So there's also the potential for that halt. But EU actually, going back to the Reinhardt when they've really been enjoying the Winston. This is what I get for attempting to theory craft and spot. It's going to be Colsey back on that Winston. And why not? He's been playing this hero so incredibly well. You just, if it ain't broke, don't fix.
Exactly. So I really like the choice of heroes here. You're gonna have the Brigida from Zeal to catch that Doomfist as he comes inwards, but they've also got to worry about the fire in the air, and what better to do with that other than the McCree himself, which can deal with the Doomfist comes in with the flashbang and also give some decent damage on the aerial targets. They just want to play a little bit slowly, play within these small corridors so they don't give too much consistent damage over the fire, because they don't want them to have that barrage too quickly. But down goes Thailand almost immediately, and they boop Kaboom, so there's no res there.
No kabooms and no resurrection. Brandito going to be flying in the air, taken so incredibly low and cut down by Barbecue. And so EU, I mean, it was a pretty clearly, their route of engagement was shown clearly. They flanked around that mini, but even so, NA seeming like they were taken by surprise.
Absolutely, I don't think they expected that whatsoever, but the plan was in place, and it was executed perfectly, knowing that NA were going to play Farah into this competition. Miles is coming up towards this Deadeye next, and Thailand has to switch over to the Genji here to get some damage into the backline. A bit of a weird switch coming into a Brigitte itself, because you're not going to find too much value out of the... What the...
Well, it's not just about finding those kills, but, finding them with style, sending a message right here. It's not every day you see a Lucio take down a Pharah, certainly. Poor Winston dying to a flashbang as well. EU are looking 100% comfortable behind this composition. I mean, NA, they tried to take to the sky, but when you have a Brigida shielding your McCree and you don't have that same support, it's going to be pretty difficult. Whoa! Big sleep into self-destruct. No, player 2. Oh my goodness, that is right. You work those quads, you squat. What a beautiful play.
What is this?
Brandito coming back in hot with that Widowmaker of all heroes, potentially just to try and duel out that long distance damage coming in from the McCree. He's going to swap back onto that Doomfist. Sound barrier forced out from Izzy just to try a little bit more time. Thailand now in with the blade, will cut down that poor Swedish shield maiden, finds the Cowboy in the backline as well, but the tanks are still trickling on for Shoes EU right here. The point still hasn't flipped. We're ticking up to 80%.
Yeah, we just want to stall this one out. Try spin. Monogray is positioned to do that as the balls do fall to the floor, and a nice little ring over there to signify that he is indeed dead.
Yes, exactly. That is the new age grave marker, a set of balls.
Circle of life and death, I suppose.
Blank 2018. The best news here for NA is that they're going to have this sound barrier, but EU seem to have the advantage in terms of ult economy.
Definitely. So Barbecue will be coming back to this one with the Diva Bomb. We will have this Zenyatta ultimate as well, which they can afford to use quite aggressively, knowing that Thailand has just used his ultimate. Again, they're going for this huge switch around of Brandito, already going in hard, and there's a back grenade.
But huge biotic grenade. Poor Tri-Spear getting that Transcendent neutered so many times, but the team still manages to stay alive. Sound barrier now out from Kabooms alongside that meteor strike from Bandito. Finds 2. Oh, that is enormous. Kabooms gets that boop kill as well, and NA, they are back in it.
You hate to see it, right? And they do use that Zenyatta Transcendence aggressively, and they're really banking on the fact that they would take the point back. Now Thailand, he's 90% towards his Dragon Blade, which doesn't really have anything to counter out other than the flashbang and the Brigitte stun. Now that I say that, it does seem like a lot is there for him to chew his way through, but if he plays it smart, he will be able to make his way into the backline.
A lot of eyes, a lot of pressure on the shoulders of Thailand. He gets immediately stunned. Flashbang. Oh, man alive. Blank. You got to use your powers for good here. Caster cursing Thailand like that. But Baboon does still have that primal rage. Finds the kill onto Mouse. Takes down Tri-Spear as well. He's desperately trying to knock this D.Va into the well. Won't happen, but it looks just a matter of time before NA continue to clean things up here. It is a 3v2 on the point. Poser still alive, getting engaged upon by Colsty, but the Winston from NA is still there to ward away. Keep
bye, Colsty.
The boop into the hack. Amazing work from Thailand right there. That will be the main tank down for EU. 97%. They got to keep some bodies on here just to restart overtime.
You know, Brandito, he crushes the rest of the team there. NA, they're going to take this one fairly easily. This was one player on the point. It is Barbecue. They don't care about him, and they will take this first point of the 5th game. But again, like you're saying, this is history provides any insight whatsoever. NA did take the first game of the very, very first control map. Will we see something similar where EU take this overall?
That's going to be the question. NA did take Shrine first in Nepal. Ruins is an entirely different kind of map from the previous. So a lot of long sight lines, a very open objective. So it tends to favor that long hit scan. And we do have Brandito showing that Widow early on. Will we see the same from EU?
Oh, you thought I was a Doomfist main, eh? Psych! I can play Widow too. So on Ruins, you absolutely really do need like a long-range DPS, and Brandito on this Widow is going to create so many good sight lines for them. There's so many pillars to hide behind, and you know what? Those bullets can come from absolutely anywhere. So they're going to have to do a lot of sight line checking, a lot of scouting coming up from the EU team. Already, they're on the point.
They're on the point here. Brandito staying well far away, but EU do have Zeal's Brigitte to help reinforce their front line. So Brandito gonna have to try and find some value from this Widowmaker soon, as damage is all well and good, but there is a Tri-Spear and Izzy more than happy to heal up their teams. Now the engagement coming in from Baboon. Colsty, the first one down, but EU will take the point regardless.
I love the way they're playing this. They have to force Brandito closer to the point as they play around this natural cover. Brandito turns into a close range DPS, takes down Mouse and Tri-Spear. So now it's just Baboon on the point. Barbecue. Ow, the rally gets cancelled. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, that is a feels bad. You hate to see it. Colsty in the backline does manage to take down Kabooms. EU stalling this point. You know, they're getting quite a bit of point percentage, but in the end, the overwhelming numbers will favor NA. As I say that, though, there will be one Izzy feeding his froggy body onto the point. Poor Bows as well. And check out these ultimates.
There is so many on the side of NA. They can definitely hold this one on for a little bit longer. They have pretty much every single one of them up. Now the question is, how will they decide to use them? A lot of times these teams will have troubles with deciding the plan in the beginning, and so far as we've seen, coordination is a little bit of a problem for NA. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw 4 ultimates dropped here as we just go for a dry fight on the side of EU.
No ultimates necessary, though, for Brandito to find the head of Mouse. Well, okay, there was the wall hacks up. A little bit unfair, just a little. And able to see exactly where in EU are engaging right here. Thailand, though, takes down the mech of Barbecue, player 2 as well. And NA looking comfortable.
Definitely. They are looking like they are sinking back into a very, very well-used sofa here on this point of Ruins. They might just be able to hold this one on for a little bit longer. 52% and climbing here, 50% towards taking the control map overall and making this 3-2 in the series. You know what? EU have got to come back into this with a vengeance.
Oh, absolutely, but they're going to have to deal with this EMP first. Tri-Spear throws out the Transcendence, does end up keeping his team alive for now. Sound Bearer answering from Kabooms, gonna keep NA in it for now as we tick up towards 75%, but EU still had more in their back pockets. Another Sound Barrier from Izzy coming in now. The kills trickling in towards the side of EU as they will flip.
There we go. So 3 ultimates invested in that fight. And you know what? EU still take it 34%, 83%. So there will be a recontest available should NA still take this one. What was absolutely amazing from NA, the play there, was definitely Thailand. As Colsey drops in, he hacks the rest of the team so they cannot follow up on his dive. It's so well played, but Colsey has a prime raise to keep himself in there.
Colsey may have to use it here as Mouse shut down by Suck in the middle of channeling that dead eye. Nobody's wearing watches. Who knows what time it is as the Brigitte eats a giant Bionade, fighting herself on the angry side of that Doomfist. But no, Barbecue in with the save. Brandito is out, and NA with that 1 DPS down. Will they commit? Yes. EMP into self-destruct picks up that Brigitte. So we have Izzy now on the field. The Lucio not too much longer for the world as EU running out of bodies here, and NA looking poised to recap.
All right, so they do die with time. This will be a very, very close one. Baboon goes forward, so does Thailand. They will have so little time to get back from this point. They've got to wait for Izzy and Barbecue. Probably the best 2 heroes to go dive last in that fight because they are so quick getting back to the point. But it will be Colsey having to touch first. He'll have to use a lot of his health pool to get onto this one.
Zuck boots him out of his bubble, not going to use that shielding. There's only 1 Winston on the point right now. Oh, Tri-Spear pops that Transcendence just in time. There's a Primal Raging, 2 Primal Raging monkeys on the point right now, but the biggest kill is going to be to Ponzer. No more. Burst healing for the side of NA and EU. Are they doing it? Baboon out of it. Thailand as well. The disparate parts of NA. It is 6 1v1s right now, and NA are on the losing end.
They were down on ultimates as well, so we come back in this one. They're the EMP. We have the Diva Bomber on the EU side. Should they come back in, they will have the Meteor Strike. They will have the EMP. It will be the battle of the phones, of the technology. Who will be turning off the lights first? That is the question.
I mean, Mouse, he's poised, he's ready to Ponzer goes down. Oh no, Ana, he was trying so desperately to touch, but there still is a Meteor Strike out at the ready. It's gonna have to be enormous. No, doesn't even find that D-Mech. Barbecue gonna pop that self-destruct of his own volition. Pick up 2. What better timing as Shoes, Money Crew EU tie up Ilios.
I don't know what, Thailand. Sombra may sit in front of computers all day, but even bright lights can kill you if you look at them long enough. That was absolutely amazing towards the end of that point. I really like the way that EU took that one back. They played it methodically, they played it surgically, and it was clean. We are tying this one up 1-1. This is the last map. This could take it here and now, Ham.
Yeah, it's EU. They are so close to the finish line. They can taste that victory in this Shoes Money Crew showdown. And A looking strong, but are they now slowly running out of steam? Those World of Warcraft hours catching up with them now that they're facing their opposite regions, Open Division champions. As we open up, everything will be decided here on Lighthouse. And Zeal picking up his own Doomfist.
Absolutely, we have Azil on the Doomfist once again. We've seen it bring him out now and again, not quite as good as Brandito's, but he plays a much more conservative style, and it works very well. Moves Thailand back, but a lovely stun will open it up for Brandito.
Oh, Brandito manages to find that pick. All of EU more concerned with booping Baboon off of the high ground, allowed their Doomfist to get a little bit picked off right there. So, NA looking poised to take this first point cap, and that can be extremely important here.
Who will win him? 1 slappy boy or 6 ping boys? I don't know. Let's find out.
Strong ping versus the big right hand. Oh, Misto Fisto. I mean, check out this ultimate generation as well. Brandito 40%, and unfortunately Zeal trailing by over half.
Absolutely. It's tough here. It's tough here. Brandito will be able to get towards that Meteor Strike first, which opens a lot of options for him. Quickly, Zeal does get into the back line, but Brandito is set up nice and well over here. But he does go down to Barbecue. This will open up the fight for them.
Brandito has been taking tons of tickle damage, going down first early in a lot of these fights. And Naod not going to be enough to save Suck's mech right here. Baboon falling as well. And once again, EU's methodical approach to these fights seeming to pay big dividends.
Absolutely. They have invested their ultimates and they've invested them well. They have paid off. We have Tri-Spear with a Nano Boost. We have a Primal Rage. We have absolutely everything coming online now. So they're set up for a long hold here. They are camping out at the point. They have the campfire set up and ready. And the tent, it's on its way. It's just a bit more of a stressful job.
EU claiming squatters' rights. This is my lighthouse. And with so many ultimates and the discipline and communication we've seen from this team, they could well hold over 40%, eclipsing NA right here. Thailand gonna pop that rally very early on. Meteor Strike out out for player 2 alongside an EMP. Will be 2 dueling sound barriers here. No kills coming through just yet, but NA, they're going to have to deal with this self-destruct. Barbecue sends it in deep, doesn't pick up any kills. It is a complete brawl here. Brandito, though, with that meteor strike, leading the charge onto the point. No, but Deposer goes down once again in the back. However, it is traded back with the Doomfist kill onto Zeal by Suck. EU now, they're close. They've used all of their stalling ultimates, and it looks like NA will be able to flip.
EU absolutely have to take this here, however, because they've invested all 6 of their ultimates into this fight. They have to take it back. If they don't hold it here, that would have been the worst amount of ult usage that I've seen in a long time.
Oh man, and EU, you're absolutely right. And they were able to bring things back partially due to Mouse's incredible play around those corners. So incredibly obnoxious, finding those finishing blows.
Yeah, this next EMP has to be huge to allow the rest of his team to gain a little bit charge towards their ultimate. 75% and climbing. This is the last match. Thailand, he is by grenaded, so we will go down here.
Yeah, Thailand goes down, and in the meantime, Baboon down as well, but due to a great sleep dart from Trispear, this guy has been absolutely a monster on this Ana so far. However, his days are numbered. He finds himself on the wrong end of a rocket punch, but we gotta start bringing the bodies to the point here. Barbecue holding down the fort for his team. For the moment, manages to take down Brandito as well. 2 more seconds. NA, can they even?
Oh, they don't touch it! EU, take it!
Oh my goodness. EU take it all in this Shoes Money Crew showdown. I cannot believe my eyes. Oh, NA, unfortunately, they will be the Shoes Money lose this time around. Didn't go out with a bang, a little bit of a whimper instead.
Absolutely, they were like the kids are looking in on the toy shop, little faces pressed up against the window of the point, but they're not just able to take it.
Unlucky, mad unlucky, man. But kudos to EU, though. Definitely got that bread, came out with a dominant victory. And that is just some, there's been some spicy play. And Jayne, Lemon, why did you help us digest that series?
Well, what a match that was. That was absolutely great stuff. And, I've started talking about the players that I liked. We started off with that DPS. We started about, the known factors of Brandito. And then we started, talking about the foundations of the teams, the people that are allowing these plays to allowing the plays to happen, enabling them through either great support work. Obviously, there's some sort of communication. Whoever the shot caller was for NA, though, really must have picked it up into the later maps. But, now that we've reached to the end of this series between Shoes Money Crew North America and Europe, I don't think there was any player on either of the team that didn't at one point severely, really, truly impress me. So great Overwatch from both sides. Of course, we had to play on either NA or EU servers. But you know what? Despite that, no one team ever kind of looked disproportionately outmatched, regardless of whether we were on Europe or North America. So 2 really fantastic teams here. Again, if you're not familiar with Shoes Money Crew or why we're having this showdown in the first place, Shoes Money Crew won both the North American and the European Open Division, and both teams right now are competing in trials for their chance to make it into contenders proper. So great Overwatch, good job to both of the teams, and good luck making to contenders. Lemon, what did you think of that match?
That was so great, and you're absolutely right. I think every player had their moment to shine. We see Trispear hitting those sleeves, and you caught it on camera. Nice OBS or nice obs work or observing work there and catching kabooms. And I was a big fan of Mouse, his evolution of being a really great McCree to now getting countered on McCree. And we even saw Brandito bring out the Widowmaker. I was kind of surprised he didn't just have Thailand on the Widowmaker, because that's what I guess they designate a Widowmaker player. But I guess when Thailand wants to bring the Sombra, then perhaps Brandito's the Widowmaker player, and he actually got a double kill on Ruins, which allowed NA to repush the points. So you guys can lol all you want that he's a one trick, but I think he has some definite potential as a Widowmaker player when Thailand isn't picking up that role.
You know what? You said that I got a few great things on camera. I feel pretty good about some of the things, but I also feel bad because Brandito, anytime he fucked up spectacular, well, I was always on him when he pulled one of those off. So, you know what? We were on him on Ruins when he was struggling to hit a sleeping Zenyatta, but then as soon as I swapped off, well, he was landing those headshots, he was fragging out, and he was, those meteor strikes from hell just gotta be a support's worst nightmare. What do? You just guess I'll die, and then you do. So, congratulations to both teams once again.
Yeah.
Really, on North America, one of the really interesting things to me is you have a whole bunch of players who have really, really quite distinct play styles. One of the weirdest things to me was kind of observing the difference between Thailand and Brandito's play style. Like, Brandito is obviously very aggressive. He likes his kind of methodical setups, but Thailand is also just plays slower, and he's wanting to look for his opportunities and make sure they're absolutely right before he triggers. And sometimes, that left him, especially on the Sombra play, spending a lot more time invisible. And maybe he's doing some scouting work or something that we can't tell from the spectator camera. But, if NA can kind of, fix what feels just kind of like inexperience, I guess. They're a team that has admitted to not scrimming. And I definitely think that they've changed that up now that they're going into trials, because they taste the sweet victory of having made it into contenders proper. But you know what? I think NA, despite the, you could call it a tough loss, 4-1, I think NA only has room to improve and is just going to keep getting better and better and better. And you haven't seen the best of them yet.
And if you guys are excited to see Shoes Money Crew EU again, Broadcast GG will be covering EU trials. I believe that starts next weekend, but it's starting very, very soon. So maybe you guys want to pop over to our channel, Broadcast GG on Twitch, and you get to see Shoes Money Crew EU. Unfortunately, we aren't covering NA trials, but I'm sure you guys can follow them on Twitter to catch what their scores are.
Well, thank you very much for joining me today, Lemon, and I'm just going to pass it over very quickly to Blank and Ham to send their farewells. Again, big shout out to Broadcast.gg for both helping run this tournament, as well as just providing personnel and help with graphics and all the fun stuff. Running tournaments is difficult, and I wouldn't be able to do it without their help. So my many thanks to all the great people at Broadcast.gg. Definitely check them out, especially if you're interested in seeing more Tier 2 and Tier 3 Overwatch. So, Blank, Ham, thank you to the both of us, or thank you to the both of you, rather, for joining us. And just say goodbye to all the friends at home.
Thank you. Thank you to the two of us, the two of you, the two of all of us, everybody, coming together, watching, checking out some spicy show matches. And yeah, Blanca, you want to plug first? Go ahead, dude.
Thanks all for watching. It was a really, really fun time. Chat, you're absolutely amazing. Jayne has an absolutely incredible community here. So thank you very much for being good sports in chat. And thank you very much for joining us to watch some lovely, lovely Tier 2 Overwatch. You can check me out over at Blankcast Twitter. I sometimes tweet funny things. And I'll be doing more casting in the future. So catch me there. And then I'll let you take it away, Ham. And then you can close this one out nice and smooth.
All righto. Yeah, but any of us, actually, we all are on the tweet sphere, the communication highway of the esports world. Yeah, so check me out. I am at ham__tornado. Some dongas took all of the normal ones. So yeah, definitely give us a follow. All of us are always putting out the content that we're going to be doing next. For me, that will be casting AHGL's Corporate Clash alongside in conjunction with the San Francisco Shock every Saturday. My partner Boopasaurus and I will be casting that next Saturday, so be sure to tune in. And of course, for any of you guys who are interested in potentially getting into esports broadcasting yourself, be it casting, hosting, analysis, production, obs, anything like that, give our Broadcast GG account a follow on Twitter as well. That's at broadcastdot.gg on Twitter. And of course, you can also find all of the VODs of the previous tournaments we've covered on our Twitch page, twitch.tv/broadcastgg. But yeah, I mean, just thanks so much, everybody, for tuning in. This is honestly a really awesome opportunity. I certainly have had fun. I'm sure Blank, everybody had a great time here checking out these two behemoth teams. Best of luck to them in their journey forward into Contenders Trials. But I do believe that'll do it for us here at this broadcast.
Well, thank you very much once again to Blank and Ham. Lemon, any final words for the stream and the show match between EU and NA?
I guess self-plug. Thank you guys for watching. It's always a pleasure to come visit you guys and for you guys to give so much love to us developing casters and analysts and all that stuff. You can catch me on Twitter, @lemonkiwi_, or my YouTube, The Lemon Kiwi, where I cover Overwatch contenders, interviews, and stuff like that. So hope you guys to catch you guys in our chat this upcoming weekend for EU trials at twitch.tv/broadcastgg. And we hope that we get to bless Jayne's one of your tournaments once again. And it's really awesome to see you help grow the tier 2 and the tier 3 community, not only on the player side, but on the talent side as well. So we really appreciate the opportunity to come and help you out.
Well, I'm happy to provide it. And thank you once again to Shoes Money Crew, North America and Europe for agreeing to this show match. I had a lot of fun, but that's it for this evening. My self-plug is I'm Jayne. Hi, you're on my channel. Sup? Yeah, that's my self-plug. How you
Hit the
guys
sub,
doing?
use your Twitch Prime to, do the thing.
Yeah,
You guys know what
that
to do.
button over there. But anyway,
Dab
I'm
on
going to
that
pass it over
subscribe.
to Super there if you guys are interested in some main tank gameplay. If not, well, you don't got to go home, but you can't stay here. I'm out of here. Thanks for watching, and you guys have a great evening.
Get to making with jive, boy. Big shine. When it hits you, yes, 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 you shine. When it hits you, yes, 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 yes. When it hits you.